currently fourth in the Eastern Conference. Golf, Zach Johnson named Ryder Cup captain for the U.S. The 2023 Ryder Cup will be played in Italy.
Finding your next great hire can leave you finding yourself pressed for time. That's why Indeed has a built-in interview platform that makes it easy for you to schedule and conduct video interviews right on their site. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Always brought to you by Ingles. Low prices, love the savings, and we are live in the Ingles Studio. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene's alongside, as always, and we're going to play a fun game today. We got the little Matchmaker game going on. We're going to play quarterback Matchmaker, as of course we're all still consumed with. I mean, there's no NBA right now. You got the NBA season.
It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, who's paying attention really anyway? It doesn't really even matter till you get down to the playoffs, I don't think.
Other than the last segment of both of the hours of this show, I just could care less about the NBA until April.
Right. The NBA is has quickly become just like baseball, where the playoffs, that's the only time that you really get invested, or I feel like anyway. The only things that they're talking about in the NBA right now are not like what's going on the court. It's all Ben Simmons and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, season resumes after the All-Star break tomorrow. Hornets will play their first game back on Friday. You got college basketball going on, and Jeremy's going to have all of the picks for you coming up in the Green on Green and the 5 on it in the 4 o'clock hour.
Thanks for letting me down last night, Tennessee. Well, you won by entirely too much.
Well, they won by, what was it, 26?
It was a lot.
Something like that.
They covered that side of it. It was the under that I was a big fan of because you let Missouri score about 20 points in the last 6 minutes.
Right, it was Tennessee was in the 80s, and I think Missouri scored 60. I did notice that you missed the under on that one yesterday. But he'll have the picks for the night coming up for you. And, of course, we're all bombarded with what's going to happen in the NFL.
Oh, we got the USFL draft, too.
Well, we'll keep you updated.
Deep dive it.
I mean, the Tampa Bay Bandits, I picked a great team because it looks like I will put it this way. I don't know how good they're going to be on the field, but I do recognize more names on their roster than anybody else's.
Which means you hit, what, 3? You got a whole 3 of them.
Pretty much. You got Jordan Ta'amu is now the quarterback, former Ole Miss
when
star.
You win the first pick in that draft and your prize is Shea Patterson, yeah, tell me I don't need to pay attention to what you're doing without telling me.
Really set up the Michigan Panthers for success there. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Anyway, yeah, they are. I think they're right now in the 27th round of the USFL draft.
We're to the kickers now.
Oh, are we?
Oh, yeah, we're drafting kickers.
Nice.
My Twitter is being inundated by updates on the USFL draft.
Yeah, first 12 rounds were last night, and they're having like 37, 38 rounds, something like that. But, I mean, you got to build these teams from Jump Street. They got nothing to work on.
I just thoroughly love that teams can pass in the draft.
This is like that initial...
you're going to make me take a wide receiver? I'd rather just not. Can we just play with 3?
This is like that initial dynasty draft. Like the first one when you kick off a dynasty draft and you have to have 25 rounds to fill your roster.
Yeah, the only difference in this draft and that one is that you've actually heard of some of the players in that one.
Right. If you draft a player that nobody else has ever heard of in the dynasty draft, you did it wrong. You need to start over.
If you go undrafted in the USFL draft, do you immediately have to stop playing football and start like working at a gas station? Or I'm just dumbfounded behind me. It's trending on Twitter. No, I cover 300 players a year. I don't know who these guys are.
It's trending on Twitter because people love football. People love football, and they're so excited that spring football is here. I mean, the USFL was great back in its day. Is this iteration of it going to be any good? That remains to be seen. You don't know that. It could be fun.
Jordan Ta'amu and Shea Patterson in a game that if we played it in your backyard, you'd burn your house down.
They are playing in people's backyards, and I don't think the people of Alabama really care all that much about it.
I don't think Birmingham knew they were playing those games there. Oh, wait, you're doing it here?
Oh, no, I'll bet you
I'm good.
Nah, that's the biggest thing to happen in Birmingham since the last Barons season.
As somebody that's been to Birmingham, disagree. There are things you can do in Alabama that are...
Other than meth.
No. They have some... They drink by profession down there.
I got
I've
you.
seen me do it.
I got you. Also at the top of
By the way, all Alabama residents at Sports Take ESPN, do not direct those at me. That wasn't me.
Sorry, been to Alabama. It's fine. I mean, it's fine. It ain't no Mississippi, I can tell you that. I'm really sick and tired of this thing going through professional sports right now of the I don't want to play for you, so I'm not going to play for you thing. We're going to talk about that. Jeremy and I will argue about that coming up in the top of the second hour.
Your side of this is just asinine to me.
No.
There are times
you have lost
that it
all
ruffles
sense.
me.
You have lost all sense of sportsmanship and competitive edge. If you
How
think
did I
this
lose
is
something
okay.
I never had?
Oh, well, okay.
How in the world did I? That'd be like saying I lost my Maserati. Did I lose it in my dreams?
Says the guy who probably got kicked out of more T.C. Robertson basketball games than anybody else in history.
No, that was AAU. Yeah, AAU. I had a little bit of a bad attitude. Not gonna lie,
just a little bit.
Shocked?
Just a little bit. Also, Socon Tournament coming up next week here in Asheville. Don't forget, you need to be in the building for the Socon Tournament. If you haven't taken this in, it is a great event. It's always great games throughout the tournament, and they're coming up at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville. Next week, it all starts with the women's first round on March the 3rd, and we'll wrap up with the men's championship on Monday, March the 7th. The Ingles 2022 Socon Basketball Championships. You can get your tickets today at SoconHoops.com. Ticket packages very affordable for a family. If you got really young kids, I mean, if they're 5 and under, they can get in free. So it's great to take your family out to this. We're going to talk to Geoff Cabe, the Senior Associate Commissioner of the Socon, in the second hour, as well as Caleb Peak's going to have another Socon-themed chew on that for you, brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. But first, we got to play quarterback matchmaker here in the Sportsocracy, and Jeremy requested it, so I have to throw it out there. He's got to do his little game show thing.
Oh, Carolina Panther fans been clever for a quarterback. Got a quarterback for you. Not so sure how you're going to feel about this, but in our little game, there is a quarterback that needs a place to land, and you do look to be a perfect landing spot. Come on down, Carson Wentz!
We did not practice this, and I love the voice more than anything else. Wait. Carson Wentz, that's your matchmaker quarterback for the Carolina Panthers this offseason.
Look,
come on.
I'm going to level
Stop
with you.
that.
If the Indianapolis Colts are this dedicated to he is not going to be their quarterback.
You mean dumb?
He has to play somewhere. It's not like he's going to go play for the Pittsburgh Maulers or the Michigan Panthers. He's got to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Of course he is.
Here's how I think this goes. This Carson Wentz story has been blowing up for the last few days. He has basically said through his people he does not want to play in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh apparently has an interest in him. He has no interest in them.
Okay.
Which is bizarre, to say the least.
I mean, Carson Wentz, at this point, I would think if any team has interest in you, you need to be interested in them. I mean,
tell me you're soft as marshmallow fluff without telling me you're soft as marshmallow fluff. Oh, their fan base is too intense. I need to play somewhere where no one cares.
I need to play somewhere with no expectations. So, Houston Texans, come on down.
Well,
because it ain't the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers fans have expectations.
They do.
And they're not going to be happy with
They also
this.
have a sheer hatred of Sam Darnold. A sheer hatred of Sam Darnold. And here's what Carson Wentz is going to be. That several of these options are this, but none of the good ones are.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap.
Dirt cheap. Because he is going to be a hard sell to fan bases. Of course he is.
Worst case scenario, he comes in, he's your backup to Darnold. Because I still think Sam Darnold's better than he is.
I would agree with that. I don't think the Carolina Panthers should make a move at quarterback. You already made your move.
Well, you got to have a second one.
Well, yeah.
Because P.J. Walker's not it.
Well,
and you can't be this unstable at starting quarterback. And I'm sorry, Tyrod Taylor or I'll just go through a couple of my screens. Jacoby Brissett. That's not going to do it.
As a backup?
That's not going to do it.
It would 100% do it.
No way. You're telling me Carolina Panther fans, week 1 next year, they've got, let's say it's the Saints, coming in. And we've got Sam Darnold and Tyrod Taylor. Yes. Let me jump all over that.
I don't feel like you're in much worse shape than you were 2 years ago when you were trotting out Teddy Bridgewater and Kyle Allen.
But that's the point. That's the point,
Mm-hmm.
is that you've been in this shape forever. This is the best high upside play in the quarterback market. The problem is that virtually every team in it, it's not high upside they're looking for.
Right.
Denver Broncos, Washington Commanders. They're looking for somebody that come in and play right away, or somebody that's going to that's going to teach a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Carson Wentz. It's not. He's not competitive enough. There have been rumors about his mentality since he's been in this league, and now he just confirmed it. I went through every team in the NFL trying to figure out, okay, Carson Wentz is going to get cut.
Mm-hmm.
Can we stop talking about them trading him? How much of that salary would Indianapolis have to eat for anybody to go, yes, we'll give you a conditional 7th rounder for him?
All of it. 80,
Wouldn't be all
85
of it.
to all of it. 85%
Wouldn't be all
of
of it. But I have this weird feeling that he's going to get cut on the 17th.
Mm-hmm.
Because Indianapolis knows. They know they messed this up. I said it all for the last 6 weeks of last year. You're not competitive. You're going to get into the playoffs and get slaughtered.
So is this more or less than the $2.5 million that Mitch Trubisky signed for in Buffalo?
More.
Then I'm out.
So I'd say it's probably 5 with an escalator to 8. Probably looks very similar to what Jameis Winston did. But fact or fiction, Carolina Panthers would be the best receiving corps he's ever played with.
Fact.
And it's not really all that close.
Yeah. It'd be a fact. I mean, it's about a parallel jump from offensive line that he had in Philadelphia. So he's going to go back to getting his brains beat out.
Life. So, that's not new.
Yeah, he's going to go back to getting his brains beat out every day.
Speaking of that, Carolina Panther fans, you do have some free agent additions that you can look to for the rest of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Be putting out on our YouTube channel starting tomorrow. Very easily identifiable because they look like a comic book.
Right. And if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, shame on you, should be. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link right now because we are streaming live on YouTube as we do every afternoon, and subscribe to the channel so you can get all of our extra content.
A couple of our Panther fan friends said that they walked into talking about Sam Darnold and Tyrod Taylor, so let me just go ahead and do this again. Doop. That's Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
With the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, we're playing quarterback matchmaker for this offseason, and he's got Carson Wentz going to the Carolina Panthers. And, I would take some credit for this, but I am completely against this move.
All right, so
I don't
what else
see
you do?
how it helps the situation at all. It doesn't help Sam Darnold get any better. You're going to have nothing but controversy continuing in that locker room.
You'll have controversy with anybody you bring in the building. You had controversy with Cam Newton, who's not one of the 70 best quarterbacks in this league. You had controversy with him. You're going to have that anyway.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, tell me what the better solution is. You going to roll with P.J. Walker again?
No, you draft a quarterback. No,
At
not at 6. No, not at 6. You draft somebody in the later rounds.
Do you know what a fourth-round quarterback in this draft looks like?
What?
Let's see. Brock Purdy will be gone by then. That should tell you what this quarterback class looks like.
Right.
Yeah, you might have a guy that could put on a uniform if you're lucky.
I don't do anything to that because we're in a no-win situation.
But you got to remember, see, you're doing that thing again. I'm not saying this is what you should do. I think this is your highest upside play. You got to look at the fact you got a coach that's got 1 foot in a grave and 1 foot on a banana peel.
Yeah.
You got a GM that the stink of Matt Rule is starting to attach itself to him.
I still feel like your highest upside play would be that you got to throw whatever package you can together to get Deshaun Watson.
You don't have it. Sorry, you gave up your trade capital to the Jets. You don't have it. You do not have what they want because they have no interest in Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that for a year. Because if you remember, the original team that was talking about Deshaun Watson was my team.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam Darnold's what we had. Apparently Nick Caserio has zero interest in him at all.
Right.
So you have no capital. You've traded away all of these draft picks. You do not have the ammo that Houston wants. And that's assuming that all of the legal things go away. All right, take Deshaun Watson out of it. What else you going to do? You bring in Tyrod Taylor? You gonna bring Teddy Bridgewater back? That make you feel warm and fuzzy?
No.
You're not a player on Jimmy Garoppolo. You're not a player on. I would be honest with you. I don't even think Mitch Trubisky would be interested in you.
I guess.
You see how when you walk
I
Mitch
think Trubisky should be interested in anybody that's going to give him a decent shot.
Mitch Trubisky may get the biggest free agent contract of any quarterback in this class, including Carson Wentz.
That's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting to think that, that's where the quarterback market is. That's where this veteran quarterback market is.
That's the whole point.
That guy could get the biggest contract of anybody out there on the market now.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point of this little exercise. So we put out mock drafts. All right, 32 individual team-crafted mock drafts, which you can currently find at thesportsocracy.com or on our YouTube channel. And literally every team, no matter what quarterback I gave them, well, we would never do that. Kenny Pickett. Let's talk about Kenny Pickett. After the commercial break, I'm going to tell you something that I heard about Kenny Pickett from people that were in Mobile. Yeah, I think it'll probably get that to stop happening.
Okay. All right, we will continue to play the quarterback dating game.
Right here, the Sportsocracy. Great to have you alongside. Be back after a short commercial break.
Here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergent Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Clouds will increase tonight with a slight chance for a shower as the low drops to 51. And a cloudy and mild day tomorrow with an occasional showers. The high climbs to 63 degrees. Temperatures will stay above average on Friday. There will be a few early showers. Then during the afternoon hours, it will be partly to mostly cloudy and breezy with a high near 62. For the weekend, cooler, cloudy on Saturday with a high in the low 50s. And a few early showers on Sunday with a high temperature once again reaching the low 50s. I'm Geoff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
1 minute you might be blasting Jack White, and the next you're belting out a Lady Gaga dance track. Your music tastes varies, and we got you covered with your very own station, My Favorites Radio. The more you listen and thumb up the songs you like, the more personalized your station gets. Get started now and start thumbing, and the only songs that'll play are the ones you've thumbed up. Plus, you can share your station with anyone in seconds. My Favorites Radio, only on the free iHeartRadio app. Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
iHeartRadio.
What's done more to improve overall health and wellness, modern medicine or personal hygiene? Actually, it's both. But considering that bathing went mainstream in the 1800s and brushing your teeth in the 1900s, isn't it time for something new, like cleaning your nose? After all, your nose is the body's air filter for trapping dirt and germs, the first line of defense against allergens, bacteria, and viruses from getting into your lungs. But how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage isn't medicine, it's more like plumbing. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the very back of the nose where germs can get trapped and multiply, and then out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and microbes so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. Join over 2 million others and find out for yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Gain presents a tale of longing and long-lasting scent. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Add Gain scent beads for an even longer lasting scent.
Did you know select Ingles Markets now offer curbside service? Shopping has never been easier with all the quality and service you expect from Ingles. Visit ingles-markets.com to find a store near you and start shopping.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg and cheese, or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
Who are we going to cheer for on Sundays now?
It's ESPN Asheville. You're in the Sportsocracy, and Carson Wentz. Woo! Live it up, Carolina Panthers fans.
And the bad thing, that's probably the third best one that you're going to see.
Yeah. It's just going to be, everybody expecting all these big fireworks from the quarterback market this year with Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, and those things are not happening. We don't believe that they're going to happen.
No, they're not going to happen because how are you going to replace them?
Right.
Brian Gutekunst just did a media availability. He basically said, I never told Aaron I would trade him.
Right.
He said we would come to an agreement, and they have.
Mm-hmm.
If a quarterback leaves Green Bay, it will be Jordan Love. I promise you. And here's what people don't seem to understand. All right, Mike Glennon came out in the E.J. Manuel, Geno Smith draft.
Okay.
Do you realize he's the quarterback with the most career passing yards in that draft?
I believe it.
With 7,000.
Mm-hmm. Was that the Paxton Lynch year, too?
No, that was E.J. Manuel at 16, Geno Smith, who had to go home and come back when the Jets drafted him.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry, Geno. Did you not get a hotel for a second night?
E.J. Manuel. Wow.
This draft is the only one I've ever seen that's even in the ballpark.
Right. But Kenny Pickett, he's supposed to be so good, so ready to play right now. Is it? I mean, what is it about him? Is it his little tiny hands?
His little. So in Mobile, it started raining.
Yeah.
He couldn't hold the ball. Couldn't in any way hold on to the ball. Here's something a lot of people don't know. An NFL football, slightly bigger than college football.
Right.
Those little tiny hands become a big problem in the NFL. I've had Kenny Pickett at the Steelers as long as I can remember. No shot of that happening.
No shot of that happening.
None. Dome team, maybe.
Right.
And even then, I have a third-round grade on Kenny Pickett at this point. I think he's fine. He's going to be a back-end NFL starter.
But somebody's going to overdraft him.
That's the reason I'm telling you right now, Sam Howell and Malik Willis are going to go in the top 10.
Yep.
I have never been more convinced of that than I am right now.
All right, let's look at the free agent market once again. We're playing quarterback matchmaker.
Well, Pittsburgh thought they had a quarterback, Kenny Pickett. They played college football there. No longer an option to me. So we set him up with their own quarterback. Come on down, Jameis Winston.
Oh, Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston to the Pittsburgh Steelers? Really?
I know that sounds weird. It's such a non-Pittsburgh Steeler thing to do.
It does. And no risk it, no biscuit. That really don't fit in with Mike Tomlin, does it?
It kind of does, though.
Okay.
If you remember, there was a time before Ben's arm fell off.
Mm-hmm.
We used to compare Jameis Winston to him a lot.
Yeah, I can remember that. I can remember that.
He's a big kid.
Strong arm.
And I think they're going to pour money into that offensive line this year.
Mm-hmm.
Try to run the ball. Jameis a good play-action quarterback. Stop with the Jimmy Garoppolo thing in Pittsburgh. I've heard that until I'm blue in the face.
Right.
That is not going to happen. He doesn't fit that offense in the least.
Okay. So they're going to look for a mobile-ish quarterback.
It's not even that he's mobile. because he's not really mobile. He's just not stationary the way that Ben was.
I mean, he like young Ben is pretty mobile. He's pretty big when he gets moving forward, and he does fight for extra yardage. So
I just look at that receiving core and go, you're not going Mitch Trubisky or Mason Rudolph. That team's too good. And sitting at 20, I don't think there's a quarterback there you can take. I know they're in love with Malik Willis. Mm-hmm. You're not trading up for Malik Willis. You're just not going to do it.
They're not going to trade up for Sam Howell either. They'd have to trade.
They're in love with Sam Howell.
Okay.
The grade on Sam Howell varies so much.
Oh, I know. I mean,
not for me.
To me,
he's my one with a bullet.
To me, it would seem weird. I don't know that Jameis fits. I don't know that he fits the culture of that team.
And
I mean, does he have that blue collar kind of I mean, he was my quarterback in Tampa for 5 years.
And my quarterback in college.
He's a 5,000-yard passer. You know, he's got the arm. He's got the talent. The problem was all of the turnovers. It wasn't just the interceptions. I mean, 30 in a year, that'll do it every time of like, yeah, you need to get out of here. But it wasn't just that. Remember, he also had problems holding on to the football when he was scrambling and all of that. So I don't know. It doesn't fit Pittsburgh Steeler football to me. Like, I don't want this guy being the guy out there taking the shots.
And again, I'm going to ask,
and causing the turnovers.
What do you want? You want Mason Rudolph?
No, absolutely not.
You feel good about Dwayne Haskins?
I thought that was the dumbest thing of yesterday when I saw Kevin Colbert talking about, I'm really excited. This could be Mason Rudolph's time. No, it can't. No, it can't.
It can
that's
also
lip
theoretically
service.
Be mine. But if I got hit after I got done crying, I might die.
Right, but stop lying to me. I mean, I know you're saying the things that you have to say with the guys that you have in the building, but take more of a Ron Rivera stance on this of like, all options are open. We need to find a quarterback. You should not be couching here with, Mason Rudolph will be fine. Or Bruce Arians. Like, Blaine Gabbert hasn't really had a chance. You know, he had 8 different coordinators and 8 different offenses and 8 different head coaches in his first 8 years. He's never had a team this good because he's not that good. He's not worth putting the money into.
Well, of all the quarterbacks that are going to move, Jameis Winston's the only one that I don't see as just a bridge guy. He could actually be a starter in this league.
Yes.
Jameis Winston is good enough to be a starter in the NFL.
I would agree.
He was good-ish last year with nothing. Now you put him in Pittsburgh with Chase Claypool, Freiermuth, Deontay Johnson, and Najee Harris.
Mm-hmm.
That is what he is. He is a product of the weapons around him. He's going to turn the ball over.
Right.
Here's the secret. So did Ben Roethlisberger.
All right, let's get one more in here before we get just a bit outside. Playing the matchmaking game here with the quarterbacks in the NFL this free agency period.
Just to prove positive of exactly how bad this is, we've already seen one breakup with Carson Wentz, the Indianapolis Colts. Now they need a quarterback. Come on down, Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, Jacoby Brissett going back home to the Indianapolis Colts. Well, not technically home, but it's where he started his career out.
It makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Indy has some ace in the hole. It's not a rookie. Here's how I think this goes. Indy has no first-round pick. Mm-hmm. So this is not we could maneuver around and get Pickett or Howell or Willis. No, you're out on that. There is a quarterback in this class, though, that I look at the way that team's set up and go, you could work. You're going to take some time. Matt Corral. Okay. I like Matt Corral with that team better than I thought I would.
Why?
Well, you've got Jonathan Taylor that is, in my estimation, the best running back in the NFL. I mean, I'm sure somebody will argue with me about Derrick Henry. To me, it's 1 and 1A. Matt Corral's mobile enough that I think that sets him up for success. You can put receivers around him. You're not going to expect him to do things right away because at the end of the day, you got a bridge guy.
Right.
And frankly, who this was didn't matter. Could have been Jacoby Brissett. Could have been Marcus Mariota, who they are interested in. Could have been Teddy Bridgewater.
Mm-hmm.
To me, they're all three the same guy. They're all three bridge quarterbacks to whoever you're going to bring in to be the long-term guy.
Okay. Jacoby Brissett.
And he's familiar, knows the offense.
Yeah. Finds his way back to Indianapolis.
Now,
to be
and
the
that
starter.
should tell you everything you need to know about Carson Wentz.
See, that's the thing, though. Like, if that's your option,
I give you 16 million. I can give you 16 million reasons why.
Oh, to save the $16 million on the salary for Carson Wentz?
Because here's why Jacoby Brissett is there for me. I have been told they don't see a difference between the two.
Okay.
The quarterback we had in Jacoby Brissett and what we have now in Carson Wentz, there's no difference. They're the same guy. They're very limited. The more latitude we give them in the offense, the more mistakes they make. And one's drastically cheaper.
So they'll save $16 million just outright cutting Carson Wentz?
No, it's not quite that bad. They would still have dead money, but it's not
astronomical.
I can't, to be honest with you, I don't remember exactly how much it is.
I mean, depending on what you can save, I mean, if it's a sizable amount,
I think it's $16 million.
But if we're saving like $2 million, what's that in the grand scheme of things?
13.4.
So they'd save 13.4 by cutting him. Then you have to pay Jacoby Brissett whatever his market value would be, $5 million.
$8. Holding firm at $11.
He'd get $5, don't you think?
Probably 2.5, 3.
Really?
That's right about where he would fall in. And their thought
even if the plan was to bring him in as the starter, like there's a certain level there of like,
don't bet against yourself.
I'm going to be a starter in this league. You're going to pay me more than $2 million.
Don't bet against yourself. Who else is going to give him more than that? I think he made 2.5 last year with Miami.
I don't know.
It's nobody.
Yeah.
That's the answer. And they have enough money and enough talent that they can run first, play good defense, and they trust Jacoby Brissett.
Okay. He already made enough on that first contract where he was overpaid by Indianapolis.
Yeah. Indianapolis is like, look, all right, you got some making up to do.
That's the other thing. I think, what was that relationship like? Is that likely that they would go back to the Jacoby Brissett well? Or because I don't know how that went personally. It was just like we brought this guy in, we overpaid him, and now we're stuck with him, and then we finally got rid of him.
The way it was said to me is that they've 2 years in a row they've gone out and gotten stopgap quarterbacks that they don't feel like they got anything more out of them than they would have gotten out of Jacoby Brissett, and he's way cheaper.
There you go. All right, so save the money. Makes a whole lot of sense. We'll play more quarterback matchmaker coming up in just a second. Let's get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Anybody else notice that shift that happened over the last few days? Like you go out in public, and do you know? Well, no. I mean that's one thing. Like it's toasty right now in the mountains of western North Carolina. 67 degrees on February the 23rd. Little abnormal for this time of year, but that's not what I'm talking about. No, what I'm talking about is the masks. Have y'all noticed this yet? Like everywhere has taken down all their signs. All of the mask mandates and stuff have been lifted all around the country. There are only a few places left that still have them. It was weird to me. Like I was walking around today, I saw no one wearing a mask. The signs were taken off of doors of businesses, and it's kind of nice that we're getting back to normal, but it's still just weird after 2 years of what we've been through. But I bring all of this up to say this. We may have Kyrie Irving back with the Brooklyn Nets on a permanent basis coming up real soon, because today at a media conference in New York City, the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, just recently elected to that office, said today that he hopes that he will be able to phase out the city's vaccine mandates in the coming weeks. Of course, other big cities have done this already. Boston's done it. Washington, D.C.'s done it. And the New York City one affects Kyrie Irving not being able to play at home because he's unvaccinated. So now that the vaccine mandates look like they're going to be lifted, it's going to be go time. It's going to be go time. No more excuses for the Brooklyn Nets. At some point, you're going to get Kevin Durant back. Ben Simmons is going to come back, hopefully, and play for you after the trade from Philadelphia. Hopefully, we will have movement on this. Vaccine mandates no longer a thing. New York City, that's the benchmark. That's the benchmark when you know we've gotten past it. When New York City can get on board with no more vaccine mandates and indoor mask mandates and stuff like that, we know we've turned a corner.
You know, it's weird. I feel like somebody said that was coming. I don't know who that could possibly have been. Sunday's Daytona 500 on Fox drew 8.9 million viewers.
All right.
Topping every primetime entertainment show on television to date this year.
Nice.
But that's not why I'm telling this story.
Okay.
It beat the NBA All-Star game by 41%.
As it should have.
That's the benchmark All-Star game. The NBA does All-Star Weekend better than anybody does.
Okay.
It just got slaughtered by the Daytona 500, which at best is the 6th most popular sport in this country.
Yep.
That's at best, and I'm probably being nice.
No, I'd say you're right on that.
It's behind soccer, the NHL, golf, the NFL, and Major League Baseball. I didn't say UFC, and I would say UFC is probably more popular, but most of their
I think
events
you
are
left the
pay-per-view.
NBA out of that, too.
No, I said the 4 major ones, golf and...
okay.
Or maybe I said one twice.
Who knows?
It's entirely possible.
I think you said NBA in the setup, but didn't say it again in your list.
Here's the other part of this. 8.9 million viewers. What do you think the Olympic closing ceremonies got?
3.1.
6.6.
Ooh.
It was on NBC, so it was guaranteed to get a 3.
Right.
That is dumbfounding to me. And first of all, good for NASCAR. That's proof positive of what happens when you, adjust.
Mm-hmm. When you can adjust to the times, when, you broaden your base a little bit. Yeah.
I'm in no way biased. We don't work for Fox. Their coverage was phenomenal.
Oh, it was great. I love Tony Stewart in the booth, too.
I kind of did, too.
I thought it was a great, I won't say upgrade because I like Jeff Gordon as a broadcaster, too.
Well, he's still, I love Dale Earnhardt Jr., but he's better than him. By a great deal.
Y'all see that car over there?
Hey, what's that car doing? He's turned left. Back to you. Dale, are you drinking a Budweiser in the infield right now? Nobody told me I couldn't. Yep. Back to you.
Dale Earnhardt and Larry McReynolds had a baby.
Oh, Larry McReynolds. That's the greatest commentary. I wish there was a Larry McReynolds in every sport. Because Larry McReynolds has 2 speeds. He either over-explained something that there's no way you understood, or he grossly underestimates your knowledge on, like, a tire.
Right.
Most people don't know this. Tires made of rubber. And the camshaft that ties into the tie rod and the... Larry, split those 2, okay? Dumb one down, smarten one up.
Yeah. I loved it. Daytona 500. Good for them pulling it. That's a respectable number, I would say.
Oh, that's a very respectable number.
Yeah.
At this point, that's a borderline World Series number. In the middle of the day on a Sunday. That's very respectable. NASCAR should be very happy with that.
Oh, I think they are. I think they're just happy to have their races back on network TV.
The only problem is that a lot of people walked away and went, how do you pronounce the guy's name that won this race?
Was that Kendrick?
And was Jacques Villeneuve in this thing? Like, did I fall asleep for 20 years? I saw that name and went, that can't be who I think it is.
That is exactly who you thought it was.
Who that was.
That's exactly who you thought that was. Absolutely. All right, it's time for another Matchmaker in the NFL free agency period. We're talking quarterbacks in the NFL. We've had some doozies so far. What do we have now, Bob?
This guy a lot more popular than you might think. Used to be a star of the NFL. High draft pick, going to a bad team. Come on down, Marcus Mariota with the New Orleans Saints.
Marcus Mariota to New Orleans.
There are 2 guys in this class that I have been told are going to end up as starters that you don't expect. This is the first one.
Yeah. Look, and it makes a lot of sense that Marcus Mariota and I've thought for the last couple of years he's the best backup, or one of the best backups. Not say the best backup, but he's one of the best. Right, he's one of the best backups in the league. If he can stay healthy, there's still some talent there. Marcus Mariota, he would definitely come in and be a leg up over what New Orleans currently has in the building, which is Ian Book and Taysom Hill.
Oh, Ian Book. If you want to beat Ian Book as a quarterback, you could use an actual book. Like, you get a copy of the Encyclopedia Britannica, it's a better quarterback in the NFL than Ian Book is.
Oh,
by a pretty good deal.
You're too hard on the kid.
And if they ran the 40 against each other, Ian Book would only win it by like 0.2 of a second. Photo finish. Looks like the Daytona 500, actually.
Yeah, but would you think that Marcus Mariota can do anything? Can he keep New Orleans competitive offensively?
The fact that he can do so many things. Here's the problem with New Orleans, and I can't decide which way they're going to go. They're either going to reunite with Teddy Bridgewater, Well, I should say there's 3, because there is a possibility they just stick with Taysom Hill and ride with that. I don't see that happening. You got to look at the difference between Sean Payton and Dennis Allen. I understand they're on the same staff. Dennis Allen is going to run the ball a lot. Well, that's what Marcus Mariota does.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see a path that this is his best shot, because he's a better version of Taysom Hill than Taysom Hill is.
I'd agree with that.
He's faster. He's bigger. He's got a markedly better arm. And I had to find a place for this guy because I keep getting told that he's going to be a starter. At the very least, he's going to contend for a job. It's not necessarily he's just going to be handed a job, but him and a rookie, or him and somebody like Taysom Hill. Now that Sean Payton's gone, my only question is, does he have dirty pictures of Dennis Allen the way he did Sean Payton?
Right, and if none of these teams step up, like if, at the very least, I could see, last option, Denver gives him a call, or we bring him in to compete and push Davis Mills in Houston. I mean, there are. He is a good enough player that he needs to be on a team, and yes, there are teams that he can contend to be a starter on. All right, next up.
Speaking of Teddy Bridgewater, he's going to get a shot somewhere. I've been waiting to do this for 24 hours. Calm down, Teddy Bridgewater. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No. Can I stick with Blaine Gabbert?
No, you can't.
I would.
I mean, you could.
Rather.
You're not gonna.
Actually, I take that back. I would not rather stick with Blaine Gabbert. I actually would. We can still win the South with Teddy Bridgewater.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
We can still win the South with a good defense, with the weapons that we have. Teddy Bridgewater can still lead a team to the playoffs. Can he get you far in the playoffs? Absolutely not. But he could get Tampa Bay there.
I'm going to steal this analogy from somebody else that does what we do. Teddy Bridgewater is the best ham sandwich in the entire NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be full after eating a ham sandwich? Yes, you will. Have you ever walked away from a ham sandwich and gone, that was gourmet? I would have paid $50 for that. No.
Yeah, maybe. Depends on where you get it from.
Stop.
Depends on where you get it from.
I love.
You ever had a ham sandwich from Ziggy's on Hendersonville Road in South Asheville?
I have not.
If anybody can make
there's 2 things I get there. I go Philly or I go bagel.
Okay.
The breakfast bagel. Good.
Oh yeah.
Gracious.
Oh yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff at Ziggy's.
I think she outsources that sausage from heaven.
Winner of this year's Stubby for the best Philly cheesesteak in town, by the way. So,
I do love a Philly.
Oh, they are phenomenal and original. I mean, they got Philly bread and everything that she has shipped in. All of the meats are there. You can buy them by the pound as well. Check out Ziggy's Bakery down on Hendersonville Road. Sorry for that shameless plug, but we love Ziggy's so much. But yes, I mean, if anybody could make you a $50 ham sandwich or one that was worth that much, it would probably be Ziggy. But Teddy Bridgewater, he can still be very, very useful, and I really don't even hate this all that much. I mean, there's a part of me that hates it.
We saw in Denver that with a good defense, a good running game, and good weapons, Teddy Bridgewater can be good enough. Well, he wasn't good enough to take the worst team in his division to the playoffs. Well, that worst team, that Denver team, would be the favorite in the NFC South next year with him.
Mm-hmm.
I just look at Tampa Bay and go, there's too much mouth service. There's too much, we could go with Kyle Trask. No, you can't.
No, he still needs to develop.
And I'm going to be honest with you, if Bruce Arians doesn't stop saying that, there is going to be a mass exodus. You got too many guys that are Jason Pierre-Paul, Ryan Jensen, experienced vet guys that are not going to look at Blaine Gabbert and go, yeah, let's do that.
Well, I don't know. Bruce has the pulse of the team pretty well, and he says he's got all the respect of his teammates in the locker room. Arians, as the backup, as the emergency guy.
Yeah, Bruce Arians wears a fanny pack. I take anything he says with a grain of salt, and that's being nice.
The fanny pack and the driving cap as well. All right, who else is going to move in this free agency period as far as quarterbacks go?
We're to the top 3. These are the ones that should really be happy with what they're walking away with. Denver Broncos give up on Teddy Bridgewater. Give another shot to Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh, the Denver Broncos with all those high hopes of Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson, and then you get Mitch.
There's a but here, though.
But?
There's going to be a young quarterback behind him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be Malik Willis.
Okay. So they'll use their top pick.
The thing about Malik Willis is that you cannot expect him to start in the first year. I've never seen a quarterback whose feet are that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But the high side is intoxicating. I have Sam Howell and Malik Willis as 1 and 1A in terms of arm talent in this draft. I do see Denver at 9. They're in the catbird seat. Nobody's going to trade up for these quarterbacks. They're not. Every team I did a mock draft for that picked in the top 10, well, we could trade down with who? And who are they coming up to get?
Right.
There are no quarterbacks. So the more likely scenario is you look at a guy like Trubisky who's trying to generate a market for himself down the line. I don't think there's as robust of a market as people will make you believe.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see a path that he comes in with an elite running game with Javonte Williams. Great weapons. And he can come in and build his stock. He knows that he's not going to be the starter here long term, but this gives you a shot.
But why would
you built your value? He has better value right now, having taken 9 snaps all year last year, sitting behind Josh Allen, than he ever had coming out of Chicago. Now you go into a really comfy spot, and you might be able to generate one. I'm not going to say it's going to be a big money deal. I don't think he's going to get $60 million from anybody.
Right.
But a year from now, could he be looking at 30? 2-year, $30 million deal like Teddy Bridgewater got? Yeah, I can see that.
So Malik Willis, first quarterback to come off the board? And
it depends
and
on
they
who
would
it
take
is.
him over
You
Sam?
tell me who the team that takes him is, I'll tell you who the quarterback is.
But they would take him over Sam if they were both there.
I think Denver would. Washington, I believe, would take Sam Howell over Malik Willis.
Okay.
This is just, nobody in those organizations have told me this. It's just, you're reading tea leaves.
Just a feeling.
The beauty of the Senior Bowl is that you do realize everybody's wearing like team-branded apparel.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard to follow somebody's eyes and figure out who they're really locked in on. And that's kind of how that went. Denver appeared to be more locked in on Malik Willis. And I don't really think there's a way anybody goes in the top 8. And the only one to do it would be Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was Atlanta, it would be Malik Willis.
All right. We got 2 more quarterbacks to go. Who's next in the big quarterback grab of 2022?
Well, if you listen to the show for any period of time at all, you should know who this one is. Jimmy Garoppolo. Come on down to the Washington Commanders.
All right, Jimmy G going to Washington, D.C. I like it.
This is the one that makes the most sense to me. And we have one more that we'll get to after the break that's a large domino that's going to a place that I guarantee you're not expecting.
Right.
For a reason that you probably don't expect either.
Okay.
Garoppolo fits in the system really well. The other thing you have to be careful with Washington, who's their offensive coordinator?
The dude
Scott
from,
Turner.
Yeah, the dude from Carolina.
Yeah, Scott Turner.
Yeah.
He was quarterback's coach for Teddy Bridgewater. I feel like one way or the other, one of them goes to Washington, the other goes to Tampa Bay. Whether it's Garoppolo to Washington, Garoppolo to Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Teddy to Tampa, Teddy to Washington. Because those are the 2 teams that legitimately feel like they are a quarterback away. We have all the other pieces. The defense is good enough. The thing that I can't get away from, I can't believe that Washington would give up 11 for him without getting something back. But that's the way it appears.
Can we, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is this like the NBA, can we trade the rights to Tom Brady to the San Francisco 49ers for Jimmy Garoppolo?
No, you can't.
Aww.
Tampa Bay is going to do from the way it seems now. Now, the first day of free agency is going to tell the tale there. They're going to do everything they can to stay competitive. There's not a lot of options there. Now, Washington, on the other hand, there's one ace in the hole here. Teddy Bridgewater, okay, cool. You win 9 games, you maybe sneak into the NFC playoffs, and you get just boat raced on somebody's home field.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jimmy Garoppolo, on the other hand, I feel just way different about him in that situation than I feel anywhere else.
All right, we got one big quarterback move to make here in the matchmaking game. Here in the Sportsocracy, Greene on Greene coming up next, as well as that big move next, as we continue to make all the matches that we possibly can for this offseason. And, none of them big names are moving on.
The underdog. The long shot. The nobody from nowhere, never gonna happen, 100 to 1 shot. We know something about that. We're with you every step of the way.
This week at Ingles, select 12-ounce Frank's hot sauce, 2 for $5. Select sizes and varieties Keebler cookies, also 2 for $5. And select sizes and varieties Maxwell House, large can or pod coffee, $5.98 each. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Being a real estate agent isn't about listing houses. It's about connecting to people. I need to find new buyers every day, so I promote my listings using radio commercials from iHeartAdBuilder.com. Now every time I have an open house, it's a full house.
A custom radio ad from iHeartAdBuilder is the fast, affordable way to drive customers to your business. Put the power of radio to work for you. Get started now at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
One thing that I love is being able to look at my scale now and see the progress that I have made with the PhD weight loss program. My scale is showing now below 260 pounds, and I cannot remember the last time it did that. I've lost more than 30 pounds on PhD weight loss, and Jeremy, you're having great success as well.
I'm under 260 pounds for the first time since I was in my early 20s. I'm sleeping better, which has always been a problem for me, and I feel fantastic. The convenience of this, that's what got me in this shape. Fast food was more convenient. Now I have convenient, healthy food right at my fingertips.
The support that Dr. Ashley Lucas and the rest of the folks at PhD Weight Loss show is just, I get these emails every day talking about what's the most important thing today. Well, keep pushing forward, make smart decisions, and remember, tell yourself that those foods that you love, a lot of times they don't love you back. Get with the folks at PhD Weight Loss, myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches, weakness, or discomfort in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 selling nerve care company. Nervive contains alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, and B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live your life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com.
Hola, Carla speaking.
Carla's roofing company always goes above and beyond.
Yeah, we heard about next week's forecast.
She needs a new foreman to weather a storm of projects.
You mean another full crew before Wednesday? Mira, Jose, can you work Wednesday?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys, it's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell. Because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
The coffee store closes on. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Last night, another 2-2 night. Thanks, Tennessee, for scoring entirely too many points and allowing way too many in the last 8 minutes of the game. I got 4 picks for you again last night with no NBA, so these are all college. First one, South Carolina's a 2-point dog tonight at home against Mississippi State. Mississippi State just got their first road win of the season.
Yikes.
And it was against Missouri. That same team that just got boat raced at home by Tennessee. Mm-hmm. This line's off. Doesn't make any sense to me. South Carolina's the better team, and they're at home. Give me South Carolina plus the 2. Virginia is a 5-point dog tonight at home against Duke. They've already beaten them once this year. And they're not going to beat them again, but I think this game will be really, really close, and it's going to be really, really good. Virginia has come on stronger later here in the season. The beginning of the year didn't go well. Duke's still really maddeningly inconsistent, especially on the road. I'm not saying Virginia's going to win, just saying Virginia's going to cover. Give me Wahoo plus 5. Finally, Wake Forest, a 3.5-point favorite tonight at Clemson. Over-unders 145.5. These two teams score a lot of points, and that over is not nearly high enough. But the thing I like even better, Wake Forest, quietly, second best team in the ACC. I don't think it's all that close. Clemson's fallen off a cliff. I don't care that this game's at Little John. Give me the fighting Steve Forbes, -3.5, over 145.
Go and do likewise, gents. The money's out there. You pick it up, it's yours. You don't, I got no sympathy for you.
And as always, take your wagers over to betus.com, betus.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy when you make your deposit. They'll give you a 125% deposit bonus for using the Sportsocracy promo code, and they'll do that up to $2,500. Last move to make this free agency period for quarterbacks.
There's only one team desperate enough in the NFL because they know they boo-booed their first-round pick with the quarterback. Come on down to Deshaun Watson with the Cleveland Browns.
Whoa, the Cleveland Browns going to make the trade? They're going to send Baker Mayfield to Houston?
Here's the thing. That's part of this. I think they would try to parlay Baker Mayfield because they do believe in Davis Mills. A team that's going to make this move for Deshaun Watson is going to have to be borderline desperate. Denver is not borderline desperate. Think of all the teams that need a quarterback. Who's desperate? Tampa cannot facilitate this level of deal.
Right.
There is no kicking the can down the road. I went through every team in the NFL and went, who could move the money? And if it went sideways, what are you really out? Let's say they give up 3 ones for Deshaun Watson. Well, you gave up the number 1 pick for Baker Mayfield. At this point, you're not going to pay him. I don't care what he does next year.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you could get out of it? You keep this team reasonably together. They have a lot of movable money and a good amount of cap space. I don't think the haul's going to be what people believe it will be. And I could see a path that Cleveland comes in and goes, you know what? If he's our starter, we'll give you 3 ones. We'll put 2 conditions on the later ones. We'll give you a pick in the top 15 this year. You can help build your team and just get it done. It works better for everybody. It sounded insane when it was first broached to me, and the more down the rabbit hole I went, the more sense it made.
Deshaun Watson to the Cleveland Browns could happen. We'll just have to wait and see. It's been fun playing the quarterback matchmaker game. Coming up in the next hour, I'm going to scream at clouds again. You're not going to want to go anywhere because Jeremy's going to scream at me a lot. It's coming up next.
This is your Exergent Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Clouds will increase tonight with a slight chance for a shower as the low drops to 51. And a cloudy and mild day tomorrow with an occasional showers. The high climbs to 63 degrees. Temperatures will stay above average on Friday. There will be a few early showers. Then during the afternoon hours, it will be partly to mostly cloudy and breezy with a high near 62. For the weekend, cooler, cloudy on Saturday with a high in the low 50s. And a few early showers on Sunday with a high temperature once again reaching the low 50s. I'm Geoff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance, where you only pay for what you need.
Liberty. Nobody should have to pay for one-size-fits-all insurance coverage. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Water stains on the shower glass. Try rubbing some shaving cream on them.
Tyler's cleaning crew knows every housekeeping trick in the book.
Handling timesheets now.
But they need a proper bookkeeper to keep finances tidy.
New equipment is a business expense, right?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
A $4 risk-free and refundable deposit will get you started on your customized new vehicle only at Marion Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Everyone knows you get a better deal down the mountain. Go to MarionCDJR.com or order in person on Worley Road in Marion.
Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys, it's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell. Because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Retire. Packers GM Brian Gutekunst told reporters there are no deadlines for a decision from the star quarterback. He did add the earlier Rodgers decides, the better, because of the impact it'll have on the rest of the team's offseason moves. There will be a financial difference for Rodgers if he does indeed go back to Green Bay, explains Monday Night Football analyst Louis Riddick.
He deserves somewhere around $45, $46 million a year. It's probably going to have to come in less than that, given the cap situation that they have and given how many people that they need to re-sign if they want to maintain some kind of consistency as far as this roster from 2021 to 2022 and make a run at it.
Our Louis Riddick. More on this story on the 6 Eastern Sports Center on ESPN TV. NBA, Cavaliers promoted assistant GM Mike Gansey to general manager. He takes over for Kobe Altman, now president of basketball operations. Gansey's played a big role in the team's renaissance. The Cavs are currently 4th in the Eastern Conference. Golf, Zach Johnson taking over as U.S. Ryder Cup captain. The 2023 Ryder Cup is in Italy.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. We are live as always in the Ingles Studio. You can hear the Sportsocracy everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. And don't forget, Socon fans, we got information coming up for you on the Socon Tournament. It's going to be back in Asheville at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, March 3rd through the 7th. That is next week. We have next Thursday. All the action will kick off. We will be out there live on Friday afternoon doing the show from the Socon Basketball Championships, the Ingles 2022 Socon Basketball Championships. Get your tickets today as, of course, all the Socon teams fight for a spot in the NCAA tournament. They got the Ingles fan zone that's going to be set up, all interactive games and such. Of course, sports personalities like myself and Jeremy are going to be out there as well. They'll have the mascot voting, pick your favorite Socon mascot, and a free photo booth, all that kind of stuff out there in the Ingles fan zone at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville. Get your tickets today at SoconHoops.com. Also, at the end of this segment, we're going to have an opportunity for you to win a family 4-pack of tickets to go to your choice of sessions of the Socon Basketball Championships, except for the Monday Night Championship. So any of the weekend sessions, Thursday through Sunday, we'll have tickets coming up, your chance to win in just a few. Also coming up in this hour, Geoff Cabe, the Senior Associate Commissioner of the Socon, is going to join us in the next segment. We'll have a special chew on that, brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets with Caleb Peak as well. Socon themed. We're getting in the mood here as Asheville gets ready to host the Socon once again. There's one thing in sports that I'm really getting sick and tired of. And yes, this is going to be my old guy side coming out of, I liked it when the players, I hate to use this term, but shut up and play. If you're under contract with a team, I'm sick and tired of hearing your excuses on why I can't come out and play on the field today. And most of this is triggered by, of course, Zion Williamson, because I have had that bug up my keister for a while with Zion Williamson and his I'm going to be around, I'm not going to be around, I'm having a setback with my injury. Yeah, okay, to a point I can get that, but you've also made it very, very clear that you don't want to play for this organization anyway, so why should I believe anything that you come up, medically speaking? Same thing with Ben Simmons. Sick and tired of it. I have a mental block. I can't get on the court for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah,
well, you know
as
what,
soon
bud?
as you got traded, that went away.
Right. We're paying you money. You're under contract here.
They weren't paying him.
Well, I know they had to make him sit out, and well, he sat out, and they stopped paying him, and they fined him for it, which was the perfect way to handle that. But I'm just sick and tired of this. Like, you never would have heard about this back in the day. Like, you couldn't imagine a scenario where Michael Jordan had refused to play for the Chicago Bulls because they sucked for the first 3 years that he was there and he had no help.
Yeah, because Charles Barkley never did that. Oh, wait, yeah, he did it twice. Yeah, he did it twice. 2 times.
2 times.
Yeah.
Got his way out of Philadelphia, got his way out of Phoenix as well when he went to Houston. I understand that.
Scottie Pippen. Yeah, he did it like 11 times. Like
11
basically
times.
everywhere that wasn't Chicago.
The one time he went to Portland.
Yeah, he did it in Chicago too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because nobody respects me.
This is not new.
But was he?
The thing that irks me is that you lump James Harden, Ben Simmons, and Zion Williamson in the same.
They're all the same to me.
They're not. They're not in any way. James Harden was on his 3rd team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and by the way, this was the team he picked himself to be traded to the year before.
Mm-hmm.
The James Harden thing, I'm good. Now, he's earned enough cred in this league that if you don't want to be somewhere, I get it. It's the way the league works.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Simmons, you're just, you're soft as marshmallow fluff.
Yep.
It's just the way it is.
Yep.
And that's not heavy-handed. It's not anything like that.
Anthony Davis, same thing. I put them all in the same category because it's the same basic principle.
But see, I don't put Anthony Davis in that either.
Why not? He did the same thing in New Orleans. He sat out and refused to play.
Why wouldn't you? What has that franchise ever done that makes you think they can in any way use you correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's play a fun game. When Zion Williamson came into the league,
yeah,
here was the lineup around him.
Okay.
Lonzo Ball,
Mm-hmm.
Derek Favors,
Mm-hmm.
Drew Holiday,
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Ingram, J.J. Redick, and himself.
That's pretty good crew around him.
It's decent. It's not great. And Josh Hart. I forgot him.
Yeah.
How many of those guys are still on that team? 3 years later, how many of the guys I just said are still on that team?
None of them.
Brandon Ingram. And he's been the subject of trade rumors literally since Zion got there.
Right.
Now go all the way back to Chris Paul. I said this yesterday and I'm mad. And that's what sparked this, is after my mad, it turned into a full-on argument of, yeah, I disagree with you. Well, here's the thing. Usually I would agree with you. Zion Williamson made it very clear from the outset. Everything he ever heard about this franchise was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Name me the player that's ever left New Orleans and been happy, that's ever said anything positive about them.
Oh,
I'll save you the time. There's not one.
I don't know.
As a matter of fact, most guys leave that organization and just kill them.
Oh, yeah.
They're on their 3rd coach in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I want to do what exactly about that makes me go, yes, Zion, who first of all is going to age like a dairy product, and anybody that doesn't realize that, I can't really help you. This is a guy that's not long for this league. He's not going to play until he's 40. As long as he is explosive, as long as he is the guy we saw at Duke, he'll have a role in this league. I won't be shocked if he doesn't make it long past 30 because he's a short, explosive power move player.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I waste those reps for the New Orleans Hornets?
Because you're under contract, and that's what you're supposed to do.
You drafted me. I told you not to. I straight up told you not to draft me.
Mm-hmm.
You did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You've traded everything around me. We're on my 3rd coach. Do you realize he's played 71 games and is on his 3rd coach?
Mm-hmm.
That's dumbfoundingly bad.
But is part of that not his problem? Is part of that not on Zion Williamson for him
when
not
Zion
being
Williamson
out
was
there?
on the floor, he averaged 27 points a night.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, I don't think he's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, I gave you what the lineup looked like before. Would you like to hear what it sounds like now? Devontae Graham.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good point guard.
No, he's not. He's a defensive absolute liability, and anybody that watched the Charlotte Hornets for any period of time will tell you that.
Well, nobody there plays defense anyway.
Because he's a 2-guard that's little.
Mm-hmm.
So he's one way or the other.
Even when Zion was on the floor, they weren't playing defense. That was the number one knock against them when they were in the bubble. Was this? They can't stop anybody.
Giannis Valanciunas, who's on his 3rd team in 3 years.
Yeah.
That same Brandon Ingram.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but now we brought in C.J. McCollum.
Right.
Oh, Zion should be running back to play with C.J. McCollum. Really?
It's the best player he's had. Right? He is the best player that they have given him to work with.
Maybe.
And he can't even give him a phone call?
By the way, I do think it's the revisionist history on C.J. McCollum is hilarious to me.
Okay.
Because now all of a sudden he's so good. You do realize Portland offered him for Ben Simmons and Philadelphia laughed at them.
Yes.
literally audibly laughed at them.
Well, yeah,
and it was never broached again. But now this is the best. With Zion, you should be running back to play with C.J. McCollum. He's a top 50 player in the NBA.
It's not running. But that's just it. It's not running back to play with C.J. McCollum. It's be interested at all. That's what J.J. Redick was talking about the other day.
That's what I would say to your front office.
Why would you not? Why are you not interested at all in trying to make this work? Because you don't want to be here.
Because why would I?
Because you're under contract. You're being paid to be here.
You could bring Michael Jordan into this team. It wouldn't work. Straight up, it wouldn't. This team should have been contracted years ago. There are a handful of teams in major professional sports that I look at and go, you know what? If you did this, I get it. The Houston Texans, as they're currently orchestrated, I get it. I get why you don't want to put life and limb on out there for the Houston Texans, who are trotting out what looks like an expansion team. The Jacksonville Jaguars, who brought in quite possibly the worst NFL hire as a coach ever, and then couldn't get the hire right because they wouldn't fire Trent Baalke. I put the New Orleans Pelicans right there. I put them right there. All the Pelicans are is a farm system for bigger market teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
Mainly the Lakers.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's because maybe I'm just sensitive to this because I'm at that point right now as a parent. Like if you've got kids, I don't know if you went through some of the. I'm sure you went some of the similar things, but I have twin boys, and both of them refuse, just flat out refuse to do things. Like, this is your responsibility. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to clean your room, do your chores, all the things, and they just absolutely will refuse to do it. And there's nothing I can do, nothing I can say, nothing I can threaten them with punishment-wise that makes that sink in. And to me, I look at the NBA and the NFL for the same reasons. Like Kyler Murray, looking at you, bud. Like this whole I'm not going to play because what's in it for me?
Kyler Murray ever say that?
No, he didn't. No. But that's what I'm saying is this is the picture that's being painted for us about these guys. Deshaun Watson, same thing. Stomping your feet, not wanting to, not saying I'm never returning to this team because I don't like the way this.
Deshaun Watson was at training camp. They kept him off the field. You're so far you're so far over 2 on your examples. Deshaun Watson was at camp wanting to play. They kept him off the field.
That was for show, and you know it.
Okay, he was in the building. They told him to go home, fact or fiction.
Yeah, they told him to go home because they were trying to trade him.
Yeah, because they were afraid he was going to get hurt.
Yeah, because he said, I'm not going to play. I want to be traded.
He said, I want to be traded. He never said I wouldn't play. He was there, helmet in hand, put me in, coach, and they wouldn't do it. Now, was some of it for show?
Of course it was.
I'm sure it was. But now, first of all, the example with your children, I hate that example because they're children. This is a grown man. But let's take your analogy and run with it. What is one of those chores that your children won't do?
Oh, walking the dog. That's a good one.
So if you didn't give the children a leash to walk the dog, would you still be mad at them? Because that's kind of how I feel about Zion here.
Oh, okay.
Of what do you want me to do?
I gave you a ball.
I came out here and was
I gave you a ball. That's what you need.
That's like saying you have a hand. Yes, you drag this dog around. If you absolutely, and first of all, I know way too much about this organization. I have long said the NBA should have contracted this team.
Right.
Because there are things this is back to when Tom Benson was still alive. There are things that have gone on with this team that are dumbfounding. I mean, just not even professional, high-end level basketball. And I know people are going to say, well, if you're cashing a check, you should play. I have not looked at the comments, but I'll promise you somebody said that.
Kevin Vick just said it.
There you go. I can't see it currently, but I knew it was there.
It was there.
You got to understand why. Why? All right, so I was drafted into this situation.
Okay.
It would be one thing if everybody that even so much as sniffed the NBA knew that he didn't want to be there, and he had let it be known. Let it be perfectly well known. I've heard what you've done with Chris Paul, Ryan Anderson. I give you a bunch of examples.
Anthony
Davis. You build up stars to ship them away. Why am I going to do that? Why am I going to go on first of all, there's not universal belief in him anyway. I still maintain he's one of the 10 best players in the NBA. 10 best young players in the NBA.
Okay.
I mean, in terms of per, it's all on my side. He
I know.
27 and a half points a game in the 71 games he's played.
I understand that.
I'm going to keep saying that just until it sinks in.
And that's fine, but that was a year ago. You realize that, right?
What, his feet fall off?
No, he got fatter.
I got news for you. He was fat last year. That was with him being overweight.
Mm-hmm. A year off
Probably
doesn't help that. So, I mean...
I love that narrative of, we don't even know if he can still play. Trade him. Trade him in the offseason and find out. By the way, that's the number one reason New Orleans won't do it. Because they know what will happen. They know exactly what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that you've given this kid absolutely no reason to trust you whatsoever. Nothing.
Other than give him the paycheck and say, here,
that
come play for me.
doesn't earn trust. It doesn't matter. They drafted him. They have literally lied to this kid sideways since he got into the league. Just like Stan Van Gundy.
How did they lie to him?
Because he was supposed to have influence and his opinion was going to matter. That's how they got him to come to New Orleans.
Okay.
Because he flat out told them, no, I've heard how this goes. Then you bring in Stan Van Gundy, who I'm going to be as nice about this as I can be. If I didn't know any better, I would think he had sustained a serious blow to his head watching how he coached this team.
Right.
Puts him in bad situations that make him look terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Then, and now we fired Stan. We're good now. We fired Stan. And we brought in Willie Greene. And then he gutted the roster.
Mm-hmm.
So I absolutely hate this. We pay your paycheck. Is that how you work?
Absolutely. Your boss pays you a paycheck. You have an employer.
Well, maybe I'm a little
different. If you don't
different.
show up to work.
If you don't give me the tools to succeed, I'll walk out the door and find somewhere that will. And guess what? He didn't have that option. That's not how the NBA works.
No.
That's what blue collar, I carry my lunch pail to work people say.
Mm-hmm.
They pay your check. You should do what they say. Well, here's the thing. He has options. Zion Williamson has 29 other teams in the NBA that would absolutely do anything they could do to get him. And he knows that.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing stopping that is this just woebegone, train wreck, dumpster juice, sewer water franchise that he's stuck with.
Yeah. But see, that's the problem to me. The problem to me is he looks at it as, I'm in this situation. It's not what can I do to make it better. It's, okay, I'm just out. Fine. I don't like the guys that you brought in to put around me, so I'm just out and I'm not going to do anything about it.
And I'm going to cover, now that I'm looking at the comments, I see that Kevin Vick said, we'll play out your contract. It's not
Absolutely.
how the NBA works. It's not how the NBA works.
What do you mean it's not how the NBA works?
Whoever has your bird rights has the ability to pay you exponentially more.
Okay.
I'll level with you. I'm shocked this doesn't happen more. And it happens a good amount in the NBA of guys just going, look, I'm not going to come out and say I want out of here, but I want out of here. Your first 8 years in the NBA,
but
you
how
can
many
make $60 million more dollars.
Okay.
I mean, you could walk on principle all you want to. The next person I find that turns down $60 million on principle, you'll be the first, and I'll shake your hand. I'll give you a literal hearty handshake.
Well, Zion apparently doesn't care about the money.
Lie.
Now,
that part I'll say is an absolute lie.
He's getting money right now, but he ain't performing for it.
Okay.
And that's the thing. That to me, I don't see how New Orleans can't just treat him like Ben Simmons got treated in Philadelphia.
Because
fine,
one
you don't want to
can't play
show
and
up.
one
I'm
can.
done.
One can't play, one can. Now, is the reason he can't play because he got out of shape and now he can't get back in it? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
If they thought that, promise you they would have chased it.
Maybe so.
If they thought he wasn't going to play another second with his franchise, you'd have already heard about it.
Maybe so. I don't know. I'm really sick and tired of seeing this over and over again. As long as it's not going my way, I'm not going to play. Bullcrap. I signed you to a contract. You're here to play.
Well,
play.
First of all, two of the guys you said that about, you didn't sign them to anything. You drafted them. They had no choice.
But that's kind of how sports works, right? You get drafted to a place,
that's how the NBA works.
you have to go. You have to play.
You do.
Right.
You do, but you have a lot more leverage in every other sport than the NBA.
That's me. I just don't understand how any team will look at Zion Williamson and go, yeah, I want to sign up for that. 29
of them. I'll go ahead and tell you, it'd be 29 other franchises we'll give you practically anything you want.
And I guess it's just a philosophical difference, and to me, that's what's wrong with the game today. We've got too many people saying, yeah, you just do whatever you want to, buddy. It's okay. You don't want to play for us. It's fine. Just move on.
Listen here, Reverend. You're turning it the wrong way. The congregation's on the other side.
I know.
I fully agree with what you just said.
Right.
There are certain instances. The Ben Simmons thing, Ben Simmons is soft. Ben Simmons started getting heckled at home. He was blamed because he was the process. And he wilted, and he wanted to go somewhere else. I don't look at that same way with Zion. I just don't.
Yep.
This is a guy that's looking out for his future. First of all, it would be one thing if I thought he was going to have a really good, sustained career. I said it when he was drafted.
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy whose star is going to shine really bright, and when it burns out, it is going to burn out into the ocean.
Right.
And he knows that. So why on earth would I've shown what I could do, and now you've done nothing but tug me around and pat me on the head and tell me all the things I want to hear to get me to show up, and then you poo in the punch bowl on me again. Why would I give you the opportunity to do it again? I watched you do it to 10 other stars on this team since you moved to New Orleans.
Right.
Why would I think I'm any different?
I guess 71 games is enough to show, I could play. Now I'm not going to play anymore. Somebody come get me.
Top 10 and per in the NBA. I think that's plenty.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, the Socon Basketball Championships, the Ingles Socon Basketball Championships coming up at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville next week. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk with the Senior Associate Commissioner of the league, Geoff Cabe, about what you can expect next week at the Ingles Socon Basketball Championships. Plus, we'll give you your chance to win tickets to the Socon Tournament coming up next.
This is your Exergent Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Clouds will increase tonight with a slight chance for a shower as the low drops to 51, and a cloudy and mild day tomorrow with an occasional showers. The high climbs to 63 degrees. Temperatures will stay above average on Friday. There will be a few early showers. Then during the afternoon hours, it will be partly to mostly cloudy and breezy with a high near 62. For the weekend, cooler, cloudy on Saturday with a high in the low 50s, and a few early showers on Sunday with a high temperature once again reaching the low 50s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slowing 240 westbound on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Smoky Park Highway moving problem-free. Patton Avenue incident-free. And New Leicester Highway, no delays. Hendersonville Road, no backup. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road, is slow. In McDowell County, near Marion, US 70 eastbound near Melody Haven Drive, an accident does have the road closed. Motorists should follow directions of on-scene personnel. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. When you need a taco, you need a taco. Try the new Cantina Crispy Chicken Taco from Taco Bell with your choice of creamy chipotle or avocado ranch at participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time. Contact local store for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
Extreme mood swings, substance abuse, change in sleeping habits, avoiding friends, family, and the things you used to love, suicidal thoughts. These are just a few of the signs of mental illness, and if you or someone you know is experiencing them, research says that talking about mental health has the power to make a person suffering feel less isolated, and we all deserve that. Go to iHeartRadio.com/talk for tips on how to start the conversation. This has been brought to you by NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and iHeartMedia.
63 Americans a day die by gun suicide. By storing our guns safely, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo, we can give our loved ones a second chance at life. Learn more at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
What's done more to improve overall health and wellness, modern medicine or personal hygiene? Actually, it's both. But considering that bathing went mainstream in the 1800s and brushing your teeth in the 1900s, isn't it time for something new, like cleaning your nose? After all, your nose is the body's air filter for trapping dirt and germs, the first line of defense against allergens, bacteria, and viruses from getting into your lungs. But how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage isn't medicine, it's more like plumbing. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the very back of the nose where germs can get trapped and multiply, and then out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and microbes so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. Join over 2 million others and find out for yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Introducing Venture X, Capital One's new travel card for people always asking,
where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
At Ingles, we know the ever-present struggle of, what am I going to make for dinner this week? That's why we started the Ingles Table. It's a website that brings the best chefs and food experts right into your kitchen. You can sort through hundreds of recipes for every occasion, watch how-to videos, and print shopping lists to take to the store. It's all waiting for you at ingles-markets.com. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene's alongside as well, and we are in the Ingles Studio, and the Ingles Socon Basketball Championships are coming up next week at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville. And to get us all revved up here, we got to talk to a good friend, Geoff Cabe. He is the Senior Associate Commissioner of the Southern Conference. And Geoff, since we've been back in Asheville for the tournament, it's been over a decade now that it has been back in Asheville. But you've been the right-hand man right there alongside pulling us through here.
I guess so. Yeah, it's been a fantastic run since we've been back. This will be our 12th year, and really looking forward to having actual fans be able to attend the games this year. We had very, very, very limited attendance last year because of COVID, but right now we're cleared for takeoff, so to speak, with full attendance. So looking forward to next week.
Yeah, you almost forget what it's like to have that atmosphere of just a packed house at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, for a legit SoCon championship type atmosphere. I remember right before the shutdown happened, that was the last thing that we saw. That was the last live basketball event that we had, was the championship game on that Monday night, and it seemed like 5 days later the world just collapsed. And now we finally have everything open back up again. It's going to be full capacity allowed for the SoCon championships, and we got great basketball on tap, right?
No doubt about it. Yeah, there's nothing like tournament basketball. There's nothing like conference tournaments. It's the beginning of March Madness, and if you haven't been, it's an electric atmosphere, and the arena downtown is a fantastic venue that really brings the energy.
Absolutely, and you can get your tickets at SoconHoops.com if you're interested in coming on down. We're also going to have your chances to win some family 4-packs to the Socon Tournament here in the Sportsocracy over the next week. You got the downtown dribble. This was it's been a fledgling thing since the return to downtown, but it has grown each and every year, and you get all the kids downtown and do the dribble through the streets. The Kids Fest is always a great way to get young people interested in the tournament, right?
That's absolutely right. And like you said, it's an event that we didn't get to have it last year, but every year prior to that, it's grown every year. We had almost 1,000 kids in 2020. The last time we had it, we're planning on kind of around that number this year. And it's, the kids get down there, there's games on Saturday morning. They get a free basketball, they get a free T-shirt, they get the dribble parade to the arena, and then they get to come into the games at noon for free, as long as they're, as long as they have a paying adult with them. And so it's a fantastic value and fantastic family fun that day. It's a great way to kind of kick off, that's our men's quarterfinals. It kind of kicks off our men's quarterfinals. So great basketball all day that day.
Right. Quarterfinal Saturday is going to be a lot of fun. And, we got familiar faces. UTC's back atop the SoCon again. You got Furman and Bob Ritchie's team. They're the stalwart right now at the top of the league.
Well, Chattanooga's at 12-4. Furman's right behind them at 11-5, and then it is a log jam. It is We got about 6 other teams. We got 5 other teams that are 8-8, 3 teams that are 8-8, 2 that are 9-7. And so there is not a lot of separation in our league this year. Chattanooga has, their 4 losses. They've lost to, Western Carolina, who's in last place right now, but they've beaten some good teams. So, it is, I really do think this is the year where just about any team can come into this thing and think, I can put a couple of days together at this thing and I can win it. And that is, that's just not an advertising slogan. I think it's for real this time. And so that's going to make it, even that more exciting.
I love the mid-major basketball tournaments. I mean, obviously, the huge tournaments, they have their own draw, but it's the mid-major tournaments where everything's on the line. Like, you still have bubble teams in all of these other conferences, but win and in for the big dance and these mid-major conferences, I think that just adds so much more to the atmosphere, especially when you get down to Championship Monday.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've had bubble teams in our conference that, teams that might have gotten in if they didn't win it. But, you never want to leave that to chance, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
You want to win this thing, you want to get in. And, in most years, in a lot of the mid-major conferences, it is that one team, that conference tournament champion that moves on. And so it is, it's 10 dogs fighting over one bone, and it's that makes it unlike some of the other Power 5 conference tournaments where you're going to get 6 or 7 teams in. It makes it just that much more. There's that much more on the line, and it makes it that much more exciting and that much more emotional for everybody.
Well, every day of the tournament, we're going to have the Ingles fan zone that's going to be out there in the lobby area, right, of the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville.
Yeah, in the Thomas Wolfe Auditorium, now the Jan Davis lobby there at
right.
That whole space will be dedicated to some games. There'll be some things like there'll be Wicked Weed is doing some beer tastings and things like that. There'll be there'll be a big screen there for watching games and playing some games, and there'll be some live radio remotes going on and some free swag to pick up courtesy of Ingles. So that's a real neat addition to our tournament and something, for the fans to enjoy, and gives them kind of a little place to hang out, right, between games or, at halftime or whatever.
Mm-hmm. What other promotions you got attached to the tournament?
Well, we got some cool things going on. Friday night is family night, and that's $1 hot dogs. So I know I'll see you there. The kids 12 and under get in free that night with a paying adult. From Thursday through Sunday, we're doing kind of a youth sports celebration. The whole COVID, now that we're hopefully getting on the backside of it a little bit, and, we're getting back to sports. So we're doing special promotion around youth sports where kids 12 and under, if they wear their youth sport league uniform, Thursday through Sunday, they get a free general admission ticket. And then, we mentioned obviously the downtown dribble, on, Saturday, where you can attend that, and then the kids can get into the games free for that noon session. So there's a lot of things really aimed here at families and kids, and that's the backbone of our tournament. That's our core audience, and we just want to kind of have that outreach to the community and say, hey, let's get back to going to the Southern Conference tournament and having some fun.
And it is a great time. My kids love going out to the games, and we'll definitely be there. And that's cool. I like the youth jersey thing too. I'm gonna have to get Joe to wear his football jersey out there. Hey, I'll call up the whole team. We'll see if we can get the whole team out there to come on down with their parents.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a limit of 6 kids per one adult ticket. So you bring a couple of parents and and a lot of kids, and it's a general admission ticket,
right.
So it's a great value.
Awesome, and the kids will really help pump up the noise as well in the in the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville. Not that it's ever a quiet crowd when these teams are going at it, because that's what I love about the tournament is all the teams will bring in their fan bases, and they have their cores, and man, they get really loud in the Socon too.
Oh, absolutely, and it's great this year also to have our bands and our cheerleaders and those groups back as well. They didn't attend last year, and that certainly adds a lot to the pageantry and the of the event and the excitement around it.
Yep, the Ingles Socon Basketball Championships will be back at Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, starting next Thursday with the women's tournament. Men's tournament will kick off on Friday. Geoff, Cabe, Senior Associate Commissioner of the Socon. We always appreciate you coming on the program with us, and we will see you out there on that Friday.
Absolutely, and we appreciate everything you guys do for us.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you later, Geoff. And if you want to go to the Socon Basketball Championships, I'm going to give you your opportunity coming up at the end of this segment. I'm going to give you a trivia question, and you can either answer it in the chat on the YouTube stream, or you can give us a call here in the studio. I'm going to go ahead and give you the number right now, since we don't normally give out the number a lot, so you may not have that programmed in your phone. 225-4988. 225-4988. We're going to be giving away a 4-pack of tickets, family 4-pack of tickets to the Ingles Socon Basketball Championships coming up every day from now until the day before the tournament starts. So you want to program that in now. 225-4988. Just ESPN Asheville. Put that in your phone. First, let's get weird.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, I'm pretty sure these are crimes. Some crime was committed. I don't know. It's not my wheelhouse. It's actually not even my home country, so I don't know what the rules are over in England for this. But this happened in Berkshire, England, where 7 o'clock on Tuesday morning, someone called the police to come and investigate what could be a crime scene, because the street had untold quantities of blood in the middle of the street. There's no victims. There's there's no sign of a struggle other than the fact that there are just quantities of blood in the middle of the street. So police came out. They did an investigation. Doesn't look like there's any sign of struggle anywhere. There's, no broken glass. So how did the blood get in the middle of the street? Well, they went back and they started looking through closed circuit security camera footage. And lo and behold, they found out what had happened. At 2:30 in the morning, some random dude walking across the street emptied a bag of blood in the street. Yeah, he's just walking by, and you just see him just start dumping blood in the middle of the street for no apparent reason.
Why does one have a bag of blood?
Don't know.
Where does one procure a bag of blood?
I mean, there are blood banks, so he made a withdrawal, I guess.
But I don't think you have a debit card from a blood bank.
Maybe. I mean, I saw you. I know you never saw it, but I saw Blade, and they had like vampire banks where you could just go and get blood. So maybe that's a thing.
I'm going to regret asking this question. What is Blade?
Oh, Blade is like the best vampire movie ever.
Oh, vampire movie. Yeah, that's why I don't know and or care.
Wesley Snipes? Come on, man. That was awesome. Awesome flicks. The whole Blade Trinity series.
I just think it's funny that we were talking about whether or not bank transactions were made and you brought up Wesley Snipes. I don't think those two things go in the same sentence together.
Overdrawn.
Don't do crimes.
The inspector there said, at this point, we do not believe that the source of the blood is a result of an assault, although we retain an open mind as to the unusual circumstances and are carrying out a thorough investigation. They are appealing to the public. If anybody saw anybody, or they, I guess, know someone who carries around bags of blood to dump them in the streets, please. They want them to let them know.
So if you know a vampire, it's time to snitch on said vampire.
Just dumping blood in the middle of the streets. Jeez, get it together.
Your story sounds like crimes,
yep.
And I think it is. My story sounds like crimes, and it's not. A woman was detained at Logan International Airport after she attempted to check a very strange item as her carry-on.
Okay.
She tried to check a slow cooker. She had it. She wanted to take it on the plane. Then she puts it through TSA. Well, the only problem is that when they scanned it, they found $10,000 underneath the component that houses the motor. So they detained her. If you don't travel a lot, let me give you a solid piece of advice. If you're going to carry large quantities of cash on an airplane, you should put them in places that make sense. Don't put them in like T-shirts. Put them in your bag. Keep the bank thing around them, because they will ask you strange questions. I'm not going to tell you how I know that, but just understand that I do. So she was detained, and after 36 hours, they figured out that, well, it's her cash. It's her cash. It's her slow cooker. There's nothing wrong with them. And so they allowed her to rebook. There's no part of this this is why I hate stories like this, because I have so many questions.
Okay.
Why would you go to the effort to pry the compartment off to stash your money in a slow cooker that you took on the plane with you anyway?
Well, just in case somebody checks the bag.
That's like standing over. That's like the guy in your story with the blood bag. If he'd had a knife in his hand, looks like crimes.
Right.
Not saying you committed crimes, but you made yourself look like you committed crimes.
Well, look, you don't want somebody like peering in your bag and just seeing cash floating in there. It's easy to steal. If you hide it within your suitcase, then they're not going to take it out.
So you put it in a slow cooker.
Yeah.
First of all, here's the thing I still can't believe. I have flown commercial a lot of times. If somebody got on a plane in front of me and said, my carry-on is a slow cooker, I would go, nope, I'm going to drive. I'll walk before I get on that plane.
It's just too weird?
Do you know what people do with slow cookers?
They make pot roasts.
That's
wonderful.
That's the normal thing that people do with them.
Right.
You can also make things that go boom in the night with a slow cooker.
Well, not on an airplane.
Yeah, you can. 100%. Well, it's actually a pressure cooker, but to me, I don't actually know the difference. So I would see somebody carrying that device and go, no, sir.
Yeah, but I'm saying you need all of the things to put into the slow cooker. They're not going to let you take those things on the plane.
Well, you never know.
I just so happen to have the sides filled with all of the ingredients, and then when I hit this button, it's all going to come together.
It's kind of like them detaining her at TSA. It looks bad enough for me to just go, no, I don't think I will.
Yep.
I think I'll call Uber.
Sandy Lou shows up like she's going to the potluck.
Yeah, out. I'm Seacrest out. I don't care why you're checking a slow cooker.
Right.
I am not getting on this aircraft.
No, I couldn't blame you either. Yeah, that sounds like crimes, but you're right. I don't think there are no crimes
So
there.
Jason Trump's in our comments that you don't want to claim it with customs. So that's the thing. She ran it through. She knew they were going to find it.
Right.
And then they cleared that there's nothing wrong with the money. Oh, and by the way, she wasn't going international. This was a domestic
flight.
Boston to wherever flight.
It seems like too much trouble to go through.
Okay, especially when you're not committing crimes, just don't make it look like you're committing crimes.
Just don't make it look like you're committing crimes. I like that one. Let's have Jeremy win us some money. It's time to put 5 on it, Jeremy. You got winners tonight.
Stupid Tennessee won by too much last night. We have been playing this game since the beginning of the year. I started with 500 U.S. doll hairs. Now my bankroll sits at $485.73, which means we've had a lot of wagering fun. We haven't really lost anything. Tonight, we're going to try to make some. First, Duke, Moneyline favorite, minus 220 at Virginia. They are not losing to this team twice. Duke is one of those weird teams to me. Their good is very good, but they're tremendously inconsistent. I think they're going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder tonight. That scares me against the number. Doesn't scare me in the money line. I got 25 on it. Duke outright against Virginia. Next, Providence is a 1-point favorite tonight at home against Xavier, and that is stupid. This game's in Providence. This is one of the best little upstart teams in the country that's way better than people think.
Right.
And I don't know if it's because you don't watch them or because people haven't watched Xavier. These are two teams that have gone in very different directions in the last month. Providence is the better team. I'm only laying 1. Give it to me. 25 on it. Providence minus the 1. Finally, South Carolina's a 2-point dog tonight at home against Mississippi State. And that is also stupid. Mississippi State's won one road game all year, and it was against Missouri, who is brutally bad. South Carolina's not great, but they're good enough, especially at home. They score a lot of points at home. Give me South Carolina plus the 2. I got 50 on it.
All right, you can take those wagers over to betus.com. BetUS.com, promo code Sportsocracy. When you put that in and make a deposit, they will give you a 125% deposit bonus. So you put in $100, they'll give you $125 in free plays that you can use at betus.com, promo code Sportsocracy. Use it today. All right, you want your chance to go to the Socon Championships? You want to go to the Ingles Socon Basketball Championships at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville?
Get a chance to see us?
Yep.
I'll be there all weekend. Tank will be producing games, I think, Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yes, I will be stuck in the studio all day on Saturday and Sunday.
I might have a beverage in my hand. No big deal.
Right, but we will be out there doing the show from there on Friday, at least. Might be out there Monday, too, but that neither here nor there. You want to go? You want a family 4-pack of tickets? You got to answer this trivia question, and you can answer it in the chat on the YouTube stream. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and enter the answer into the chat. We're going to do one of these every day. Or you can give us a call here in the studio, 225-4988, 225-4988. Despite the fact that this school has not been in the Southern Conference for roughly 60 years, they're still third all-time in Socon basketball championships. What is that school? Despite the fact that they haven't been in the league for about around 60 years, this school is third all-time behind Davidson and UTC in basketball championship, men's basketball championships in the Southern Conference. Your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the Ingles Socon basketball championships right now. Get in the chat on the YouTube stream or give us a call at 225-4988. Now, time for something to chew on. Yeah, who are the contenders in the Socon? Caleb Peak's going to fill us in.
Murphy picked up by Powell. Shot clock at 5. Jumper on the way, McGee. There's the record! Fletcher McGee, the NCAA's all-time career leader in three-pointers. McGee for 3.
And with that shot, the Southern Conference made history. I'm Caleb Peak. This is Chew on That, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. Not only is the Socon the oldest athletic conference in this great nation of sports, not only was the modern-day derivative of the big dance inspired by the first-of-its-kind Socon Tournament back in 1921, since 2019, the Southern Conference has laid claim to the benchmark in the latest, greatest measure of success in college basketball, the all-time Division I individual record in made three-pointers, belonging to Wofford's Fletcher McGee, who notched his 505th made three against Seton Hall in round 1 of the 2019 tourney. The grand total would become 509 by the time Wofford was ousted in the round of 32, over 2 years after McGee and the Terriers took down number 5 North Carolina in the Dean Dome for Wofford's first ever win against a nationally ranked opponent. For Wofford, the success found under then head coach Mike Young foreshadowed the breakup of the family. After 30 years on the Wofford bench, 17 of which saw him standing, not sitting, the Radford, Virginia native finally got the Power 5 call every coach dreams of. Young went back to his native southwestern Virginia to fill the head coaching vacancy at Virginia Tech, bringing with him standout point guard Storm Murphy and the cerebral Cabe Aluma to provide that bouncing presence between the low block and the corner jumper. The existing players in Blacksburg rallied around the charismatic Young and his entourage, and new Hokie recruits are mystified by his ability to bring a team together around one central cause, the business of winning. Meanwhile, in Spartanburg, enter Jay McCauley, Young's longtime right-hand man at Wofford, who assumed the top job following Young's departure in 2018, hot on the heels of his 5th Socon Tournament title. Though McCauley is a direct offshoot of the Mike Young way, Mike Young, he is not. It's a different energy, it's a different game, and a much different program now than it was only 3 seasons ago, before the word COVID was an accepted part of the global lexicon. But it's not only Wofford that's paid dearly for their success story. East Tennessee State's Steve Forbes was another magnetic force of a basketball coach whose electric personality, quick wit, and intriguing sense of fashion allowed him to amass a wild collection of players, not limited to the Southeast or the Eastern Seaboard, but a host of international recruits and transfer players as well. The result? ETSU appeared in 4 out of the last 6 Socon Tournament finals as the arguable fan favorites, since Western Carolina's struggled to climb out of the cellar in recent seasons. And Steve Forbes lands his own Power 5 head coaching job at Wake Forest, who at this point are one of Joe Lunardi's last 4 teams in when it comes to at-large tournament seeding. UNC Greensboro's Wes Miller built a powerhouse program around Isaiah Miller, leading the Spartans to a championship berth in 4 out of the last 5 Socon tournaments. Since 2016, both ETSU and UNCG have punched their ticket to the dance twice via Socon Tournament championships. And, unsurprisingly, Wes Miller lands his Group of 5 head coaching job with Cincinnati. So with all this attrition, all the scalping of extraordinary talent by the quote-unquote top conferences in the land, one could feasibly assume that, like a viral strain or a public protest, the upstart Southern Conference must have run its course by now. Right? Not so fast, my friend. We've seen spurts of brilliance in the past from this conference, as my mind jumps back to 1996 when Western Carolina fell one buzzer beater short of becoming the first 16 seed to knock off a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. But the Southern Conference is now much, much more than a one-off novelty that's meant to be cannon fodder for Power 5 opponents, even if the Power 5 still don't see it that way. Take a look at who's in the mix for a title in 2022, and it's safe to say that the changing of the guard isn't just happening. The guard has already been changed. Chattanooga, at the top of the leaderboard at 22-7 and 12-4 in Socon play, is used to being good. They've won the most Socon tournaments with 11. They were, after all, the 2016 Socon Tournament champs, and they're normally in the conversation this time of year as a dark horse contender. But something just feels different about UTC this time around. This is a team that not only knows how to win, but expects to beat anyone lining up on the other side of the timeline. Malachi Smith is a phenom running the point for the Mocs, averaging over 20 points per game, nearly 7 assists, and shooting 40% from downtown. Lamont Paris has got this team firing on 8 cylinders, and Chattanooga, for years an afterthought in this tournament, finds themselves in the driver's seat when they make the 3.5-hour trip to Asheville. Then there's Bob Ritchie's Furman Paladins, lurking close behind in second place. This is a team that was good over the latter half of the past decade, but Wofford was better. In 2022, however, Wofford has fallen into a rebuild, and Furman is only getting stronger. This is a team that rallied from a 10-0 deficit against their upstate rivals last Saturday to win by a single point. This is also a team that's had their fair share of embarrassment, dropping a home slate against UNCG in a game where Ritchie had to be constrained by his own players while arguing with officials. East Tennessee State snapped a 5-game losing streak against Furman on national TV, a Monday night primetime tilt on ESPNU. Samford is tough. VMI, for the first time in a generation, is a legitimate contender. The Socon is the real deal, and this year, it's got nothing at all to do with their usual culprits. This tournament, one of the greatest spectacles in college basketball, is truly up for grabs. I'll give you my picks and predictions for the Ingles Socon Championship next week. In the meantime, get over to SoconHoops.com and get your tickets now. You won't regret it.
And you want
Caleb Peak. That's something to chew on.
And you want a chance to go to the Ingles Socon Basketball Championships? Call us now, 225-4988. 225-4988. Give us the answer to the trivia question. Despite the fact that they're no longer in the Socon and haven't been for about 60 years, what team is still third all-time in men's basketball championships? Davidson's number 1. UTC's number 2. Who's number 3? 225-4988 here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Interstates are moving problem-free on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Traffic dry and busy and steady, especially on the westbound side. Smoky Park Highway, no delays. Patton Avenue moving well, and New Leicester Highway, no problems. Hendersonville Road, no backups. Sweeten Creek Road moving well. Brevard Road, no delays. And Long Shoals Road, incident-free. On the Charlotte Highway, no backups. Checking the drive time from downtown Asheville to Asheville Regional Airport via 240 westbound and 26 eastbound. Drive time 18 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
iHeartRadio Earth knows small changes make a big difference for the environment. Did you know that keeping your tires even a single PSI lower than recommended means worse mileage and more trips to the pump? So do the environment and your wallet a favor and always check the tire pressure. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips on smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
One thing that I love is being able to look at my scale now and see the progress that I have made with the PhD weight loss program. My scale is showing now below 260 pounds, and I cannot remember the last time it did that. I've lost more than 30 pounds on PhD weight loss, and Jeremy, you're having great success as well.
I'm under 260 pounds for the first time since I was in my early 20s. I'm sleeping better, which has always been a problem for me, and I feel fantastic. The convenience of this, that's what got me in this shape. Fast food was more convenient. Now I have convenient, healthy food right at my fingertips.
The support that Dr. Ashley Lucas and the rest of the folks at PhD Weight Loss show is just... I get these emails every day talking about what's the most important thing today. Well, keep pushing forward, make smart decisions, and remember, tell yourself that those foods that you love, a lot of times they don't love you back. Get with the folks at PhD Weight Loss, myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com.
A $4 risk-free and refundable deposit will get you started on your customized new vehicle only at Marion Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Get free shipping within a 150-mile radius of the store. Everyone knows you get a better deal down the mountain. Go to MarionCDJR.com to start your order.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Country roads,
take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia.
That's the answer. West Virginia is the school. Still third in Socon basketball championships. Had a dominant run through the conference in the 1950s and 1960s, and they're still third on the list. Davidson was in the conference forever. They were in the heyday with the big schools, and they were, up through the Steph Curry years. So they're number one. UTC's two. West Virginia still third all-time in SoCon basketball championships. So congratulations to Jason Trump. He got it on the YouTube stream. Just go to the Sportsocracy.com, click on the live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are going to be giving away a 4-pack of tickets to the Ingles SoCon basketball championships coming up every day from now until the tournament starts next Thursday. So be sure to tune in for that, and you'll have your chance. You'll have your chance to go. Take the kids along with you. It's a great time. Great family fun. We got the third hour of the program coming up, YouTube exclusive only. We're going to continue our Way Forward Wednesdays off-season previews for one team from every division of the NFL. Join us there. We'll be back with you here on ESPN Asheville tomorrow at 3.
This is your Exergent Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Clouds will increase tonight with a slight chance for a shower as the low drops to 51, and a cloudy and mild day tomorrow with an occasional showers. The high climbs to 63 degrees. Temperatures will stay above average on Friday. There will be a few early showers. Then during the afternoon hours, it will be partly to mostly cloudy and breezy with a high near 62. For the weekend, cooler, cloudy on Saturday with a high in the low 50s, and a few early showers on Sunday with a high temperature once again reaching the low 50s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Real credit card questions require real people. Someone who understands your issues and works to resolve them with you. That's why Discover offers helpful, U.S.-based representatives. Available 24/7. Discover. Exceptionally common sense.
This is your time-saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Interstates are moving problem-free on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Traffic volume busy and steady, especially on the westbound side. Smoky Park Highway, no delays. Patton Avenue moving well, and New Leicester Highway, no problems. Hendersonville Road, no backups. Sweden Creek Road moving well. Brevard Road, no delays, and Long Shoals Road, incident-free. On the Charlotte Highway, no backups. Checking the drive time from downtown Asheville to Asheville Regional Airport via 240 westbound and 26 eastbound. Drive time 18 minutes. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. Discover thousands of dollars in new tax credits and your biggest refund guaranteed with Jackson Hewitt. Schedule an appointment with one of their tax pros to get a head start on your taxes. Go to jacksonhewitt.com to learn more and find a location near you.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here in the Ingles Studio. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene's alongside. And welcome into another Way Forward Wednesday as we do our last, this is the last quarter. It's the final quarter of doing the offseason previews. We've gone team by team in every Division I each time we do this. Now we're down to the last ones. So get ready, because we got the Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals, Jacksonville Jaguars, Kansas City Chiefs, Dallas Cowboys, Minnesota Vikings, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the LA Rams coming your way.
We're also ready to unveil what our imaging is going to look like for the draft.
All right.
We have built our imaging package, and so we have one that this is what it's going to look like from now through the end of the draft.
Yeah.
They're all comic book themed.
I love it. Love the comic books. Jeremy believes that the only good comic book character is Batman, but he's wrong.
It's not the only good one. It's just he's far superior to the rest.
Far superior.
But we have a whole graphics package of comic book themed things that you will see throughout the entire draft process, starting with our free agency preview team by team that will start tomorrow.
All right, so look forward to all of our team-by-team content.
And
right here
unlike
in the
all those
Sportsocracy.
other cheating motherfuckers, I'm not doubling up players. You're not going to see Teron Armstead on 9 teams like all the BS I've seen.
The BS.
He can't be the player that everybody needs. Only one team can sign him. He can only play for one.
Only one team can sign them, but there are, there are a lot of teams that could use Teron Armstead.
Yeah, wait till you see what the draft, the mock drafts are going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're so cool. I don't very often go, okay, that was cool. I like that. Usually, I look at them so long, I'm like, I want you to die in a fire, and I don't ever want to look at this again.
All right, and yeah, there's a chat. There's the chat right now is all y'all are really excited about this Charlotte FC thing, aren't you? The first game's coming up. What, next Friday?
It's Saturday.
Oh, it's this Saturday.
I think.
No, I think it's the 5th. It's March 5th.
Is it March 5th?
I believe that's right. Coming up next Saturday, as the I'll be busy. I'll be busy doing the
DC United, February 26th.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought.
That's the first home game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, March 5th is against the Galaxy.
Yeah, I thought that was the first home game, though.
Apparently not.
Oh.
Unless they just completely do the things backwards, which I think it would be weird to unveil a team on the road.
Well, this is how their schedule. Yeah, this is just how their schedule worked out. Anyway.
Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Why do you do... Just every other sport.
What do you think?
The second team is the home team.
Oh, on how they list it.
Yes.
Oh, I got you.
Why do you start an expansion team on the? Okay, you know what? It's above my pay grade. I don't.
It's fine. It's fine. Look, there's some heck. There have been some expansion teams that didn't even have home games to start the season. So
yeah, Carolina Panthers. They played Clemson.
Right. So anyway, that's first home game coming up. First matches this weekend. All right.
Just do it like everybody else.
It's going to take time.
The second team is the home team.
It's going to take time, and then also when you hear they're going to be the worst team in MLS history. I have seen the talk of that and go, well, that's. Expansion teams, we always expect them to be bad. The Charlotte Bobcats were bad for a decade.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I remember those checkered flag Bobcat uniforms.
Oh, they were
good.
Awful.
Lord,
they were so awful. Hopefully, the Charlotte FC reveal will be much better than the early years of the Charlotte Bobcats, because they didn't do much right at all.
Adam Morrison,
Gerald Wallace. That was the
Gerald
best
Wallace,
thing you had.
I was about to say Gerald Wallace was probably the best thing those teams had.
Him and Emeka.
He was at. Emeka was terrible.
He wasn't terrible.
Oh, he was
the
awful.
best player you had.
No, Gerald Wallace was the best player you had. Emeka Okafor was the biggest name you had.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that when he washed out with Charlotte, did you notice he didn't get many other chances?
That's true. Well, it's because Charlotte used him up. That's the only reason that happened.
Gerald Wallace, I think he played 19 other cities before he was all said and done.
Right. All right. So anyway, let's get into the offseason previews here. First up, from the AFC East, we got the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills need to, they're the team that is right on the cusp of making a run at a Super Bowl.
Oh, I feel like we've been saying that for 2 solid years now.
Well, it's only been 2 years. Josh Allen's getting better, right? He's MVP level. He's top 3 in the league. I think we can pretty much say that they are here. And they are established, and now it's time to win a championship.
Yeah, this is the year you better pull out all the stops because Josh Allen gets exponentially more expensive in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
His cap number goes from 16.3 to 39.7.
Yep.
So this is the year that you pull out all the stops. I think this team is tremendously talented. If I had to point to any one weakness, I liked Levi Wallace. He was very obviously not a 1 when Tre'Davious White went down.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gabriel Davis is just going to be unfreaking. You remember when Buffalo signed Emmanuel Sanders and I went, why? Why would you do that?
Yep.
You already have a markedly better player on your roster. Why did it take you 13 freaking weeks to figure that out? So stupid.
So stupid. But they don't have money.
But they can.
They're over the cap, not by a lot. This ain't the New Orleans Saints. They're $9 million over the cap for right now.
I'm going to say something about that. I think we all need to figure out that the cap calisthenics in the NFL, you can make damn near anything work. It's just a question of how long are you willing to kick it down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo is at the beginning of the kick the can down the road. The can just fell. They're looking at it going, do we want to punt that? The answer is yes, because when Josh Allen gets exponentially more expensive, you're going to have to continue to draft well, which thankfully this team has.
Mm-hmm.
Hit a lot in mid-rounds. I think had a tremendous draft last year. Gregory Rousseau, okay. Everybody else lost their shit about him. Yeah, he was pretty good.
Right.
I believe there was some big bearded lumberjack looking. Tried to tell you that. Jets, I'm so pissed we didn't. Shit! We traded up to get. God, it's hard to be a Jets fan.
It is. It is very hard to be a Jets fan. But of their free agents that they have, do they have anybody that they absolutely have to keep in the building? Jerry Hughes, it wouldn't break my back to re-sign him.
No. The question is, what's he going to get? And that's what kind of scares me. The thing with Hughes is, yes, he's a nice piece to have. The question is, what's he going to sign for? If you can get him for, the Sport Track estimation on his market's about $3 million. You can get him for that.
Fine.
Keep him as a rotational piece. In.
Yep.
If not, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. You look at
Levi Wallace is the other one that I look at and go, he would be a priority, but it depends what the cornerback market's going to look like, and is he going to get dumb money from somebody?
I thought he was signed for some reason. I could be wrong on that. Nope, you're right. Because my dumbass clicked the wrong button.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
There it is. There's all the players. Yeah, the question on Levi Wallace is are you willing to pay? The good thing is that there are corners in this market. My fear is that Levi Wallace is going to get like $10 million a year.
That's what I was thinking.
And for me, I'm looking at this draft class going, I could let him walk and replace him with a Roger McCreary, a Kyler Gordon, and I don't really think there's going to be a drop-off.
Mm-hmm.
The corner in this class is very, very good. There's only one that I think is a no-doubt day one immediate starter, and that's Ahmad Gardner. Derek Stingley, I think, can be a good one, but I'll be honest with you, the closer we get to this draft, the more I won't be shocked if Derek Stingley's still sitting around when Buffalo picks.
Really?
That's one of those landing spots for him that I've looked at and just gone, good God, that would be good. There's a lot of people that have soured on him.
Did they pick ahead of Tampa or no? Because I would like to have a corner in Tampa Bay. Be a pretty nice thing for us to have.
Yeah.
If they're going to sour on him, I'd love for us to take our shot on him. But they can find places to save some money. They can make some cuts. Cole Beasley comes to mind. He could save you $6 million. And I don't think I mean, is he a good piece? Yes. Does he work with Josh Allen? Sure. Do they have a rapport? Of course they do. But is it really worth it? Can I go and save that money and maybe get a free agent and draft a wide receiver that's going to be just as effective?
To me, the thing that they have to undo in this offseason is the mistake that you made in Tremaine Edmonds. He has just shown to not be a very good NFL linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you need somebody in the middle of that defense. This would be an ideal spot if one of those linebackers were to fall. I had Damone Clark falling here in my original mock draft. And I would love that. I would love to have a piece that you can put in the middle of this. Let Micah Hyde, let Jordan Poyer, let Matt Milano do what they do. But I need that guy, the guy that Tremaine Edmonds was supposed to be. You know, if you bring back Cole Beasley, great. This draft is not hurting for receivers in any shape, form, or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, whichever way you choose to go with that, it's fine. My big thing is continuity. I don't want to lose any more pieces than I have to. I think you're going to lose Levi Wallace. I just can't justify paying him that. He was a middle of the NFL corner. You know, with Jerry Hughes, if he comes cheap, I'm good with it. But you have a lot of depth. There's a lot of people that really think that defensive line is what they need to work on. I'm just looking at it going, maybe it's because I'm a draft nerd, but they have a lot of depth on that defensive line.
Right.
Never hurts to have more, but
even on the interior of the line.
Well,
because I know they went double edge rusher last year.
Yeah, but I've always seen Boogie Basham as an interior guy.
Okay.
I think that is where he will play long term.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think his best range of possibilities in the NFL was. But I mean, at the end of the day, you still got Harrison Phillips and Ed Oliver. That's two pretty damn good interior linemen.
Yeah.
So depth pieces, sure. I just don't think that's their biggest need. If I'm the Bills, I am prioritizing. I'm going to have to replace Levi Wallace. I need to replace middle linebacker. Another weapon never hurt. And I think you're going to need another running back to be what you thought Zach Moss would be.
Yeah. I would agree with that. And does that solve all of their problems? Does that get them over the hump in the AFC? I honestly believe you need another playmaker. You need another playmaker because
I think you have one of those in Gabriel Davis. It would be nice to me to have another one, but
I mean, he's great for flashes. But you think he could be what?
What has changed? I said at the minute he came in the league, I hadn't changed my mind. He had the biggest game of his life in the
he had the 4-touchdown game, yeah. But aside from that, I mean, is he going to be a piece that you can count on week in and week out? That's the question that I have about Gabriel Davis.
How many receivers in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus grade, were better than Gabriel Davis? There are 115 graded receivers. I asked the question in a weird way. There were 115 graded receivers. Where did Gabriel Davis fall in line?
60s.
10.
What?
He was 10.
Oh, my God.
Now, he played 665 snaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great player. And I think he's going to have an unbelievable second year. My question is, why did it take you so freaking long to understand that he was better than Emmanuel Sanders?
Mm-hmm.
But not my team, so I don't make those decisions.
10th in PFF.
10th. Ahead of Stephon Diggs, by the way. And it's not like he played 200 snaps. He played 340, I think, less than Stephon Diggs.
Right. That seems super crazy to me, but you look at Buffalo and they are a team that is young enough, they're tough enough, and they are talented enough to win a championship. It just depends on, can they get over the hump in the AFC? Can they get past the Kansas City Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals, and the rest of the contenders there at the top? Baltimore Ravens will throw them in there as well. I don't think there's a huge move coming from this team because there's not a huge move to make. There's just little tweaks that you need to make here and there. Speaking of one of those teams at the top of the AFC.
This is not a team that's going to make little tweaks.
Little tweaks?
This is a team that's going to go jump head first into the pool If there's one team that should be really excited about these free agent best 5 players that you can to contend next year, it should be Cincinnati.
The Cincinnati Bengals, they've got the money to spend. According to Over the Cap, they've got the third most money of any other team in the NFL. And what do they need to do? They've already gone to a Super Bowl. How much better can it get? And do the expectations get too high? That's my big question with Cincinnati.
Well, my big question is, how are you going to solve the offensive line? It was the playoffs put it under a microscope. Jonah Williams is a right tackle. I've said that for as long as I can remember. I think you are going to take the head first into the pool approach to finding a left tackle. Look, I'm not. Jackson Carman didn't give you much last year. He was a developmental piece. I didn't love that you took him as high as you did. I don't believe you bring back Riley Reif because I don't think you have to. I think you saw everything. The fact they got to a Super Bowl, the line that was that bad is borderline dumbfounding to me. Weapons, fantastic. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked you about Gabriel Davis. 115 graded PFF receivers in the NFL. Where was Jamar Chase?
1.
He was 7. Where was T. Higgins?
3.
9.
God.
Tyler Boyd was your lowest rated one at 48. Big question for this team to me is, do you bring back C.J. Uzomah? Somebody pointed out in the comments of our mock draft with Cincinnati that he's a leadership guy and a locker room guy. I understand that. This is what I can't get my head around. I do not understand why you would pay $8 million to a tight end in C.J. Uzomah who's not worth that. That's what Mike Gesicki's going to get.
Yeah, there's not a chance. There's not a chance I would pay him that much.
There's chance that they will.
Oh, yeah, I'm saying that the team could. If I'm making the decisions, there's not a chance because, again, like you said, I don't think he's – to me, that's elite tight end money, and he ain't elite.
It's very high-end tight end money. And for me, I'm just not going to do – I'm not personally going to do that. Plus, he's 30 years old. For me, this is too good of a draft tight end-wise. I feel like there are a slew that could come in immediately and contribute. There are several in free agency.
I could get
O.J. Howard. I do not have them signing one, just so you know.
I was going to say I could get O.J. Howard for real cheap, and I'd feel okay about that. Draft one and get O.J.? That'd be a good.
That's a little raw for me.
Okay.
To me, it's either you're going to invest high in draft capital in it, or you're going to make a run. See, to me, Gesicki really doesn't fit the scheme. Dalton Schultz does, though. This is a potential landing spot for Dalton Schultz because it would make. If I'm going to pay $8 million to a tight end, I would rather do it to Dalton Schultz. And I just have this funny feeling that Uzomah, he is that inspirational leader, and I'm afraid somebody's going to throw something stupid at him. And if you're him, you have to take it.
Of course.
Somebody offers you 4 years, $40 million, you have to take it. I don't give a damn where it is. I don't care if it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. You have to take that at his age. That's one of my biggest questions with them. I mean, in terms of other players that they could look to bring back, they could go Riley Reif, but like I said, you don't have to. Jesse Bates, obviously, will be the franchise player at worst. I think they could get a long-term deal done with him. And you got to figure out that second corner spot. Chidobe Awuzie was fantastic. Eli Apple was not so much. Probably better than you thought he would be.
Right.
Still not great. And you got Mike Hilton in the slot, who is one of my favorite slot receivers in the NFL. I feel like it's Cincinnati took a leap in line. All right, this is I said that they could be the Chargers of next year, and then they wound up in the freaking Super Bowl.
Right.
Now the Chargers could be the Cincinnati Bengals of next year. I do think you need to improve the linebacking core. It would be nice to have a rangy linebacker, just somebody that can play, in that will spot. Other than that, there's just not a lot that you look at this team and go, God, you need a lot. No, you need a lineman that ties everything together. I think you're going to invest heavily in free agency in that. Protect Joe Burrow. Number 1 quarterback by PFF grade in the league.
Yep.
With getting hit a billion times. What do you think he could do with time?
Lowest pass blocking grade by a Super Bowl team in the last decade.
Which is dumbfounding because there have been a couple less than ideal lines.
Yeah, and you know who they took the title from?
I would have said the Rams.
No, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was from last year. It was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from last year. That shows you what a generational quarterback can do for you. You know, Tampa had the one at the end of his career, and Cincinnati's got the one at the beginning of his career. I hate the fact that now all people are talking about is, will he be the next Dan Marino? And I get that you can talk yourself into that because of the history of the Cincinnati Bengals franchise, but the sky's the limit for this team.
I just feel like people have a revisionist history. You know, the Mike Brown family ownership and all that shit. A lot of the things that you hear people talk about, you know, bouncing checks and things like that, this is in the 90s.
Right.
We're so far past that. The Marvin Lewis era is overlooked because he didn't win in the playoffs.
Because he never won, yeah.
Well, because he had Carson fucking Palmer as his quarterback. So, I mean, this is a good franchise. This is one of the best set-up teams in the league. They have, I believe it's the third most money in the league.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be big game hunters, and this team is terrifying in the long run.
Absolutely. All right, let's go down to the AFC South. It's time to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm going to say the same thing about this team I just said about Cincinnati. They have a lot of cap space, and they are terrifying. But see, Cincinnati's terrifying to the other teams in the league. Jacksonville's terrifying to their own fan base.
Right. It's just it's a bad franchise, a poorly run franchise. They do have a Super Bowl winning coach now, though. So Doug Peterson comes in. And what? You hate Doug Peterson so much.
I don't hate Doug Peterson. I hated the fit here. I still hate the fit here. This is just a team that I do not – over the course of time, if you do the same shit for 20 years, I've just come to expect it. You're going to overpay somebody. Whether it's one of your own guys, Cam Robinson, or if you go out into free agency, you will. Like this is I can't tell you off the top of my head. I haven't looked at allow me to look at my list, because I remember sitting here going, Jacksonville's going to pay somebody stupid money, and I can't remember who I settled on.
Right. Well, they have the second most money of any team in free agency. Miami Dolphins being the number one.
Was one of them.
Michael Gallup, paying him stupid money.
Yep, that fits the Jacksonville Jaguar mantra to a T.
Yeah, it does.
You're going to let DJ Chark walk out the door and you'll pay Michael Gallup something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that's not the most Jacksonville Jaguar sounding thing.
It is.
I told you right now, Michael Gallup got 2 years, $28 million. DJ Chark got 2 years, $20 million. Would you not just assume that Gallup wound up in Jacksonville and DJ Chark signed somewhere like, I don't know. Ooh, a smart team that needs a receiver. Chicago.
Yeah.
It feels weird to say a smart team.
It does feel weird, but
love
okay.
Their GM. Ryan Poles. Good God, I love their GM.
You think he's going to do a great job?
I love him.
All right. Look, and that very well could be, but you got to hope that with Trevor Lawrence in the building and the new head coach, and they're putting the structure around Trent Baalke to keep his attitude and his bad decision making in check. They're doing everything they can to recover from the disaster that was the Urban Meyer era. Now the question is, how are they going to spend their money, and where are they going to spend it?
You better spend it on your offensive line, because it wasn't good in the first place, and damn near all of them are getting ready to walk out the door. Cam Robinson, okay, please don't do that.
Just let him
I like
walk.
Trevor Lawrence so much, and Cam Robinson's not good. He's just not. He's not a good football player. He was a franchise player last year. Middle of the road. That's what he's always been.
Did he grade middle of the road last year?
He always has.
Okay.
He's either been bad, which in large part is what he was before this year, and then, hey, you had 1 year where you improved to mediocre.
Right.
That's not a left tackle with this kind of franchise. I fully believe they're taking Evan Neal at one.
They should.
And a lot of people, look, I can't sit here and tell you that I know Evan Neal's going to be a left tackle in the NFL. I can't. He's 360 pounds. There is a chance that speed edge rushers are just going to drill his eyeballs out. Worst case scenario, sleds over to the right side.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I would not be upset about is if Teron Armstead came for the bag and took $72 million from the Jaguars to play left tackle. You put Evan Neal right on the right side, and the rest of it I can just figure out.
Hell yeah.
I can. You got a lot of draft capital. The thing that scares me is this team is drafted so fucking poorly. I mean, it's a revolving door. And I mean, my team's right in this, so I'm very sympathetic to your plight. it's the same 5 teams every year in the top 10. It's the Jaguars, the Texans, the Jets, the Lions, the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
Every freaking year. And you know why? Because you keep blowing these picks. My fear, they're going to fall in love with one of these edge rushers, which, the grades on them are very discrepant. I know a guy that probably every one of you know his name that's a draft analyst. He's got Kayvon Thibodeau in the teens.
Wow.
Late teens. I thought it was lower than that. But
JT Money said it here. No, Jacksonville overpays Mike Williams.
I have a different place for Mike Williams to go that makes way more sense.
They give Mike Williams $20 million a year. It just blows the market.
Oh, no. I have the spot for Mike Williams. And it's about the only spot that I would really love. God, I can't wait for these free agent videos to come. There are going to be people that are ready to burn my house down.
Right. Jacksonville's got the number 1 pick for the second year in a row. But again, new coach. They're trying to buffer around Trent Baalke in the front office. So maybe things are turning a corner here. You got Trevor Lawrence with his first year in the books.
You got to scrub the decks.
Yeah, give him some weapons, give him an offensive line, and let's see what this kid can be. Please don't waste this guy. Because we all still believe, don't we? Do we all still believe that he's a generational quarterback?
I mean, you should. He was put in a very bad situation.
Didn't look good.
By the way, you were talking about them overpaying a receiver. Mm-hmm. This has Chris Godwin written all over it.
Yeah.
This has, we'll give Chris Godwin 5 years, $90 million written all over it.
And then, they'll give Mike Williams Chris Godwin money, and then Chris Godwin will end up being the healthier of the two.
Just saying a lot.
Right. They'll bring Mike Williams in, and he won't be able to play because he's nicked up again this
But they've
week.
got money. Hopefully they put an infrastructure around Trent Baalke where he can't just blow it sideways.
Roy, there's hope. That's all I'm saying. To all the great Jaguar fans like Roy, you got some hope. And let's see if your franchise can turn it around despite the Bond villain that you got running the show there.
Waluigi. He looks like Wario.
Oh, yeah.
Evil Mario.
Waluigi.
What'd I say?
Waluigi?
That's what it looks like. That's how it's spelled. Fucking spell it right.
No, that's what you do when you're out in the parking lot smoking. There's Waluigi and all over the place. Let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs, it's a dynasty. I mean, you're in the AFC Championship game this many times in a row, 4th time in a row, and we don't really see that slowing down for them, or do we?
The AFC just got very difficult in very short order. It's going to be tough for Kansas City to stay at that level.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Mahomes' deal inflates this year, he's got a $36 million cap number. Do you realize they have 5 different guys whose cap numbers over $17.8 million?
Yep.
And there's damn near not a thing they can do about it that they won't regret.
But at what point do you regret it? Is there ever a point that you're going to regret the Patrick Mahomes deal? I would say probably
I think
not.
Pat Mahomes will be a value in 3 years.
Right. Tyreek Hill, he's another one. Who else is on there?
The top
Chris
5
Jones.
Guys? Oh, I went away from it. Pat Mahomes, Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Tyreek Hill, Joe Thuney.
Right.
Do you know what Travis Kelce's cap number is this year?
$7 million.
8. That has got to be the greatest value in the NFL.
Yeah, that's a deal. Absolutely. Frank Clark is a potential cut for them. I mean, it save a lot of money.
To me, he's a restructure guy. That's the problem with coming through and trying to slash this team. It's going to be hard to replace the talent because, all right, it was one thing. Now you've been to 4 AFC Championship games in a row. It's way harder now. You're not the only game in town in the AFC anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So the chances of you have competition for those Melvin Ingram type guys. Lamar Houston, and I'm just off the top of my head thinking of guys that are out there that could look to sign that small little 1 year, $2 million deal and be an impact guy. Well, now that guy can go to Buffalo. That guy can go to Cincinnati. That guy can go to the Chargers. That guy can go to the Ravens. That's a lot of friggin' teams in your conference. And it's going to be a landmine to get through this.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest thing for Kansas City, you have to keep drafting well. And last year, not next week, but the week after, we'll be doing 1 week in March. I've completely lost track of what calendar weeks
it's fine.
And shit. We'll be doing regrades for the 2021 NFL Draft. And guess who had the number one class in the league? Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
By a lot. By a whole lot. You have the number one center in the league that you took not early.
4th round, was it? Third round.
I think he was in third.
It's either the 3rd or the 4th.
I'm buried into this draft.
That was one of the
No, he was back in the
shockers
second. 63.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah. I'm buried in this draft. At this point, last year's draft, I'll have to go back and watch videos to even remember who I talk shit about.
Right.
Other than Jamar Chase, I know Bengals fans.
Obviously, Orlando Brown. We talked about this the other day on the ESPN Asheville show of Orlando Brown, Tyrann Mathieu. You want to get those deals done. I can't see Tyrann Mathieu. I can't see them letting him walk away. But at the same thing, you gave up draft capital to get Orlando Brown in the building. So to me, he would be the priority over Tyrann Mathieu. I think maybe you could get a long-term deal done with Tyrann anyway.
To me, I would rather long-term commit to Tyrann Mathieu. I do not believe Orlando Brown is an elite tackle, and I never have. I mean, he was fine last year. It's really misleading when you have 2 of the top 15 guards in the league inside of you and the number one center. It's really misleading because you catch way more help than you think. He's not to me, he is not a top 5 in the NFL left tackle.
Okay.
He's just not. And that's what a long-term deal, you're going to be locked into paying him that forever. I would rather franchise Orlando Brown. And I mean, with how well you've drafted, fuck, I won't be shocked if you find some generational left tackle in the 5th friggin' round. That's what good franchises do.
Yeah. Yeah, that is.
Trey Smith. How many times did I say his name last year?
A lot.
I understand that he has a potential heart condition. As soon as I heard the medical was good, should have been a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Fell to the 6th round. Shocker. He was great for Kansas City.
Yep. Kansas City Chiefs want to stay atop the AFC, and they've got the talent to do it. Just depends on how they're going to spend their money, what little money they do have.
Eric Miller asked if I could speak on the Eric B problem with Kansas City. I'm assuming you're talking about Eric Berry.
Eric Bieniemy?
Oh, there's a rumor that Eric Berry wants to make a comeback. So I saw Eric B.
Hell, wasn't that 2 years ago he retired?
I believe so.
Yeah. I think he's talking about Bieniemy.
That would make a hell of a lot more sense.
Yes.
It depends on what you consider a problem. To me, it's more of a problem because Mike Kafka is now the offensive coordinator of the New York Giants. If he was still in the building, Eric Bieniemy can do whatever he wants to. Look, and I'm not trying to undersell the guy as a coach. I think he's a fine coach.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with offensive coordinators that come out of these systems is, Andy Reid is the beginning, the middle, and the end. If Eric Bieniemy leaves, will I be shocked if Matt Nagy's the offensive coordinator? No, I won't. Or somebody else that's fallen off the tree. It just doesn't matter to me. And I think that's what a lot of teams see is, and plus Bieniemy's been pickier about jobs than you think. There's a rumor that he wants to take a year or 2 off. So to me, it's just not a problem. As long as I got Andy Reid, I got the offense.
Yep.
I don't really care who the coordinator is.
Yep.
I think he's a fine coach.
I agree.
But to me, it's just not a problem. It's just like, all right, Steve Spagnuolo. I'll turn it on the other side. If Steve Spagnuolo left tomorrow, do I think the defense are going to regress? No. Because I think it's the system.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and just notice how many coaches have either been promoted or gotten head coaching jobs, or whatever the case may be, off the Kansas City staff. It's because these teams hire well. Same thing Belichick did. You want to steal the success.
Yep.
And Eric asked, where could he go? Eric Bieniemy wants to be a head coach. I just think he wants to be a head coach in a very specific spot. And I don't fault him for that. One of the things I've always faulted coordinators for is they just take the first job they're offered. Not all these jobs are good. Todd Bowles, and I go back to Todd Bowles with the Jets. I can list off a bunch of these. You're taking over jobs that I don't think Bill Walsh and Bill Belichick could have done anything with. It's a lot of Jets coaches now that I'm thinking about it because it's the closest to my heart. Just there's not a lot of upside there. And I applaud Eric Bieniemy for being picky.
Absolutely.
I know for a fact he could have had 2 NFL head coaching jobs. I think they're both unmitigated train wrecks, and he went, no, I'm good.
Yeah. You got to pick your spots. You don't get very many chances in this league to be a head coach. Why would you want to take over a miserable franchise like the Houston Texans? I'll just use them as an example because he was connected to that job.
That's one of them.
For 3 years in a row, it felt like.
That's one of them.
Yeah, why would you take that job? Don't take that job. Wait for a better opportunity to come your way. And you know what? If you're good enough, then it will. And I think it will. I think they are going to come knocking on Eric Bieniemy's door, whether he stays in Kansas City with Andy Reid or whether or not he takes a year off.
Well, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you that there's something that happened this offseason that it's been a long time if I ever remember seeing this happen. Minnesota waited to hire their coach until after the Super Bowl. I have not seen a team do that in a very long time. If it works out in Minnesota, won't be shocked if other teams do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always been the long-standing joke of you can be harmed by your own success. And I think there is something to that. If he's looking at his options going, you know what, if I'm unemployed next year, Doug Peterson, first one to interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's the one who got the job.
Yep.
So there is certainly something to that.
Yep. All right, let's head over to the NFC as we continue our off-season previews here in the Sportsocracy. Of course, we're always in the Ingles Studio. Don't forget to share this out with your friends. Like the video as well. And let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. This is a pivotal year for the Dallas Cowboys. They were able to keep the band together as far as the coaching staff, which I don't think – I mean, yes, you're pleased with the continuity – but I don't think Mike McCarthy's too happy that he essentially has 3 people breathing down his neck for his job this year. And you've got all the questions of you got this much talent and this much money spent on this team. You got to get it done now.
This is the team, and I'm going to be as nice about this as I can be. So I go through on our YouTube channel and read the comments and respond to them and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I have audibly laughed out loud at about 8 responses from the Dallas Cowboys fans.
Okay.
First of all, your line's not a problem. Connor Williams is going to be really expensive. That's another guy, by the way, I could see with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it's not that he's not good. It's just that line is not the problem that you play it off to be. The problem is you got a quarterback who holds the ball too fucking long. I don't care if you have Anthony Munoz and Tony Baselli in front of him. He's going to hold the ball too long. It's one of the biggest knocks on Dak Prescott. Now you're to the point where the contract kicks in and it gets harder to keep guys. Dallas has a shitload of talented free agents. Connor Williams certainly being one of them.
Mm-hmm. Gallup.
Michael Gallup. Dalton Schultz was the one I was trying to think of. I couldn't think of his name for some damn reason.
You got Randy.
I don't know how many of these guys you're able to keep.
Yeah, you got Randy Gregory, Leighton Vander Esch.
Randy Gregory. Somebody's going to throw something stupid at him. He's one of the 5 guys that were in the top 100 that I just looked at and went, somebody's going to do something stupid with you. I'm talking 2 years, $15 million per year. It's something dumb. And if I was a Dallas Cowboy fan, I hope it's not me.
How much can they restructure though? Because they're down there on the cap sheet. Over the cap has them
$22 million over.
$22 million over the cap.
If they want to kick the can down the road, they can do all kinds of shit.
Okay.
They can bring everybody back if they want to. Problem is that you're getting to that point where, okay, how much do we want to do now, knowing that it limits our flexibility in the future? For me, I'm going to try to keep this band together as long as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas is just in that purgatory that I always talk about with NFL teams. I would rather suck on ice than be where Dallas is, because to me, you're not a Super Bowl contender regardless of what you do. How are you going to end up with 3 better receivers than you had last year?
It's a good question.
4 if you include Dalton Schultz.
Right.
The defense is not as good as people play it off to be. I heard somebody on national radio, they said the Dallas Cowboys had the best defense in the NFC, and I almost pissed in my pants. I laughed so hard. They forced a ton of turnovers.
Right.
You know what turnovers are? Cyclical. Said it since the first time I ever talked into this microphone. Turnovers are cyclical. Trayvon Diggs, he wasn't that good. He's a 2 in this league, period. He's a low-end 2, very high, or high-end 2, low-end 1. You need another corner. I think the linebacking core is going to need to be addressed, especially with how much you were running Micah Parsons off the edge. I just look at the defense and go, that's where I would pour all of my draft capital. I'm going to give Dan Quinn the toys that he wants. Good thing there are a lot of corners in this draft. Now, does Dan Quinn have a predilection to like long-armed length corners? Sure does. Guess what? Ain't a lot of them in here. So, I mean, if you want to wait till the 5th round to take a guy that's raw as shit just because he's 6'3", more power to you. If it's me, I'll figure out how to use Roger McCreary or Trent McDuffie or somebody like that I think can be a 1. Put Trayvon Diggs on the other side. Let him. I think there are guys in this draft that are ultimately going to be so good that you can't throw at them. And I'm not talking Darrelle Revis, Deion Sanders kind of shit. Just these are high-end ones. So then you have to pick your poison. You can either throw it at the guy that gets cooked a lot but is a ball hawk, or you can throw it at the more technically sound number 1 corner. To me, that's you give yourself two players in one. That's how I look at drafting. I want to take players I already have and make them better by what I put around them.
Yep.
And that's how I look at Dallas. Now, free agency, good luck.
Yeah.
You're not going to add much there.
No, you don't have money to spend. You're over the cap already, and here you've already spent so much. I mean, you talk about teams that are top heavy with large contracts. I mean, there's nothing you can do about Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott's contract is what it is. You're not moving off of it. There's no path for that. Nobody's going to pick up that money.
You're not moving off of it this year.
Right. Amari Cooper, you're paying him what you're paying him. Could they trade him and save money? Or would the dead money be too much on the other end of that deal?
No, I mean, the dead money's $4 million. And so, but you'd save 18. The problem is that you're damn near almost invariably going to lose Michael Gallup.
Yes.
So, I mean, if that's the case, okay, so now you're going to have CeeDee Lamb and a bag of balls. Cedric Wilson, who people seem to be way higher on than I am. I mean, he's fine. He's a good 4. It's not a 2. I mean, you think Dak Prescott's going to lose Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and Dalton Schultz and get better?
Well, that might let you keep Dalton Schultz. Maybe you draft one.
I don't
maybe
think
you find
they
one
can pay
somewhere
Dalton
else.
Schultz what he's going to command. Dalton Schultz is going to get a dumb deal.
Really?
Yes, he's going to get a dumb deal. And it's not even that I don't like him. I feel like people hear me say that and they may, does that mean you don't like him? No, I think paying $12 million for a tight end is stupid. And I think that's the floor. It might be higher than that.
Yikes.
He might get into the 3-year, $45 million range. And why do I just absolutely think it's going to be my New York Jets that do that?
You got to have that tight end. The Dallas Cowboys, though, look, because we've thought that they were going to be in play for a Super Bowl for the last 2 years, I get you can go past let's get past the Dak Prescott injury thing and all of that. They have disappointed for 2 years. And now
I don't think last year
it's time to pay. You don't think it was? Really?
You won the division. What the fuck did you expect from them? Did you really think they were better than the Rams? See, that's the point I get to with Cowboy fans. I can't help if you're delusional as fuck.
Right.
If you think you were better than the Green Bay Packers or the LA Rams, you're a fucking moron.
Right.
And that's the nicest way I can say that.
But that's the expectation.
If you look at those two teams and go, yeah, we can compete with them. Okay, they have Aaron Rodgers, you have Dak Prescott. Okay, let's go to the Rams. They have Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Cooper Kupp, who, yes, he was markedly better than we thought, but I can keep doing that.
Right.
Like, if that's what you thought they are, I can't help what your expectations of them are. Now, would it have been nice if you beat the 49ers? Yeah. Why? So you can go to the second round and get just fucking skull crushed by the Rams?
At least at that point, that would be progression. That would be advancing. Now it's just the same old story.
See,
Cowboys get hyped up, we get in the playoffs and lose.
And see, this is what's comical to me about the Cowboys, is that this is the perpetual cycle that you live on. Virtually, I would say probably 28 of the 31 of the franchises in this league would love to have what the Dallas Cowboys have been for the last 5 years. They would be just happier than a pig in shit. And yet all Cowboy fans want to do is bitch. Like, that's what I can't wrap my brain around. In what universe are you Could you surprise somebody? Sure. That's not disappointing. If you're not supposed to win it, it's not disappointing. Well, we should have beaten the 49ers. I don't disagree with you. And you would have gone to the next round and gotten absolutely scattered, smothered, and covered by either of the teams you would have played.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it is.
No. But I think that's what keeps them. That's what is going to keep them held back is
because what keeps
of
them in the position that they're in right now.
Right.
Because see, all right. So we talk about Tampa Bay, New Orleans, how you can get into just cap hell. Well, there's a first step to that nobody talks about because those teams were competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas is in it right now. They're in it right now because you've drafted obnoxiously well. Well, now you're going to lose a guy like Connor Williams. Oh, he commits a lot of penalties. Yeah, let me ask. I'm just curious to see how close you can get to this. Pro Football Focus grades, that's all I got. I don't have another way to measure offensive linemen unless you want me to get super nerd.
Right.
82 guards in the league. Where was Connor Williams?
Top 30.
11.
Okay.
Now, Tyron Smith, he sucked. No, he couldn't stay healthy. He was 2. Tyler Biadasz, or how the fuck you say his name, 18th of 39 centers. He's the only one that wasn't top quarter of the league at his position.
Okay.
Lyle Collins, 15th out of 83.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Martin, second best guard in the league. How is that a bad offensive line? And I kept hearing that. Like, I don't get it. I don't know what you want. I cannot for the life of me figure out what you want. You have a mediocre quarterback that you paid high-end money.
I was going to say, they want Dak Prescott to be better, and they're going to blame it on somebody other than Dak.
And here's the thing. As the time goes on, as the talent around him diminishes and his salary increases, it's going to look worse as time goes on.
Yep.
It's just the way it is.
All right. Let's pick it up here because I got basketball coming up here soon. We got 3 teams to get through. So Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings, new front office, new head coach. Let's see what Kevin O'Connell can do with these Vikings. Still very talented on the offensive side, but we've already said defense is where they need to focus.
Need an edge rusher. George Karlaftis strikes me as the guy that fits this the best. Don't have a lot of money. And by don't have a lot of money, I mean you're in one of the worst situations in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a ton of ways to save. Like the Kirk Cousins thing. Oh, if we trade him. Okay, who exactly is going to pick up $35 million on Kirk Cousins? How many teams in the NFL have $35 million in cap space? Now, and I'm not saying that they couldn't develop more.
Right.
It's
7.
Like 5.
Right.
So, and one of them's the Jets. So I don't really know how people think that's going to work.
Denver Broncos, Washington football team are the only 2 teams off the top of my head that I think could make it work easily.
And he ain't going back to Washington.
Mm-mm.
He's not. So Denver Broncos, yeah, they could probably make the money work. And I said that last year. It makes a ton of sense with George Payton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you would do it. Why would I not stick with Teddy Bridgewater and draft a guy that I'm going to have under team control for 5 years? My team's young, and my team's getting ready to get expensive as hell.
Yep.
I've already paid Cortland Sutton. I've already paid Tim Patrick. Gonna have to pay Noah Fant. Gonna have to pay Jerry Jeudy. Gonna have to pay Javonte Williams.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pick up $35 million just because I have money now? No, I think we could very much see me developing a quarterback.
Right. I mean, it depends. Do they feel like, do they want to go that mercenary route? Talked about this the other day. We got these mercenary quarterbacks, Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford, who are searching for championships.
Oh, he could be that in 2 years.
Right. Is Kirk Cousins that guy, and is now the time for him to go to Denver?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Here's what I don't think people understand. Minnesota's about 3 pieces away from being a top 4 or 5 team in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could happen overnight, and it would not shock anybody. They've drafted well. And I know that, there's a new GM now. It's a GM I believe a lot in. So I don't really think you're going to regress from Rick Spielman. But I loved what they drafted last year. I think his team's in great shape.
Mm-hmm.
Just you really need somebody on the other side of Danielle Hunter. And you need him to stay healthy.
No. But they will keep him around. They won't look at Danielle Hunter as a cost savings measure.
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, you could save a lot of money, but okay, now you need 2.
Right.
You'd have to designate him as a post June 1 anyway. And I just don't get it. I mean, yeah, it would save you some money, but why? You got to have somebody that get after the fucking quarterback.
Yep.
Got to.
Yep. It was their big downfall last year. I think the defensive side of the ball needs to be where you put all your chips right now, because the offensive side of the ball works pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Works pretty well. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they need a quarterback. Tom Brady's now gone.
Yeah, you're going to get one. His name's Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh,
congratulations.
That's
looks like you
sexy.
made it.
That's not sexy at all after having Tom Brady in town, but you're going to lose free agents as well. You've continued to kick the can down the road, as Jeremy likes to talk about, with the restructuring of contracts and all of that. Things clear up a little bit next year, but for now, you don't have a whole lot of money.
You have, by my count, 8 of the 50 best free agents in this class.
8 of the 50,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
I just don't know how you're supposed to bring these guys back. And I don't know why you would.
Well, you're not going to.
No.
I mean, they went all in because they had Tom.
Scrub the decks. Do you realize how much draft capital you could get by just sitting still? Sit still for a year and suck. You'll still have Mike Evans.
Mm-hmm.
You'll still have Devin White. Now Carlton Davis, I might hold on to him.
Oh, yeah, I think he gets franchised.
I do too. But like Chris Godwin, no,
Gone.
I'm good.
Yep.
Ryan Jensen, no, I'm good. Jason Pierre-Paul, Ndamukong Suh, Rob Gronkowski, Leonard Fournette, O.J. Howard, all of them gone. I'll let them all walk out the door.
Yep.
And I will take 5 compensatory picks next year, restack the decks, probably end up in the top 5 or 10 and wind up with a quarterback next year.
Yeah. Now is the time to be building around your young core that you have. You don't need to be spending money on getting these guys to help you win championships, because you're not a championship team without the quarterback anymore. Yeah. I don't care how much Bruce Arians wants to talk up Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, he's lying.
He ain't going to be the quarterback
He's
next year.
lying to you.
Right.
And he knows that, and he needs to stop doing it. But see, what that tells me is that he already knows this. You would not be putting this out there, oh, we believe in Blaine Gabbert, if you expected a 31-year-old Ryan Jensen to come back.
Mm-hmm.
You know he's going to walk. You know Cincinnati or one of these other teams that needs a center is going to not overpay him, but pay him top of the market, and you're not going to. So you reset the decks. Know you're going to have to rebuild this team through the draft.
And you've done a good job of that.
You have done. You've done a decent enough job of that.
Well, in the last few years, I mean, you look at Antoine Winfield Jr.
That was a great selection.
Mm-hmm. You look at Devin White.
I think the coffee cup in my hand right here could have drafted Devin White. If you watch tape on Devin White and didn't go, he's going to be real
right.
motherfucking good,
right.
then you should not do this for a living.
You've got some other pieces as well that you've drafted pretty well.
They've done well. They haven't hit the back end, guys. The depth is hurting. But, I mean, that's to be expected. You went all in.
Right.
So you've given up draft capital. You've given up depth pieces to put the best 22 together that you could. You did that. Tom's gone. You're not the team anymore.
Yep. No, now it's time to rebound, and hopefully with the young core that you do have, your years of suckitude will be cut down just to a couple, and then you can make a rebound after that. You know, maybe keep Byron Leftwich as your next head coach after Bruce Arians leaves.
Would be very smart.
Yeah, I agree it would be. All right, now let's talk about the champions. The Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. They're coming into this offseason, and there was a lot of talk, same as the Buccaneers last year, of we want to run this thing back, we want to do it again, go for 2, whatever the slogan you want to use for it. And here's the question, how are they going to do it? Are they going to be able to make the same kind of cap gymnastics that the Bucs made to try to keep Odell Beckham Jr., to keep Von Miller? You think they will get it done?
They have a lot of can kicking down a lot of road.
All right.
They have all kinds of money they can move around. They have a boatload of money next year. Now, they do have players that come up next year, but you've got all kinds of things you can move around. Matthew Stafford, he comes up next year.
Mm-hmm.
You can kick that can down the road. You can put this team in a position to be a contender for 2-3 more years.
Yeah, 5 years. Let's come up with some kind of long-term deal here. Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: you don't have a ton of guys that you absolutely need to bring back even next year. So this is a situation where you can keep doing this forever. I do think they're going to lose a guy in Darius Williams that I'm pretty high on, but it's mainly because I very much could see a team overpaying him. Somebody that sees him as a 1, I think he's a very good 2. I think he's been propped up by Jalen Ramsey. And, you know, losing 1 or 2 guys like that when you draft the way the Rams do, you'll be fine. They're going to be just fine. Odell Beckham will be back. Von Miller will be back. I honestly think, other than Rodarius Williams or Darius Williams, I don't think that they're going to lose much. It would not shock me in the least if the LA Rams were in the Super Bowl again next year. I just hope more people show up to their fucking parade, because that was pitiful. I mean, more people show up to Kings games than showed up to the Rams Super Bowl parade.
Right.
So do better.
Do it at night. Maybe they should do that. If you hold it at night, maybe it'll be more of a party atmosphere, and you could have a better celebration. I've always thought like 11 o'clock on a Thursday morning or whatever, or Tuesday morning, whatever it was, it's always a weird thing. You know, it's not that big of a deal in L.A. Like Cincinnati shut down the city, and that was just because their team was in it. In L.A., that's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to do in L.A.
Right. So, I mean, they're going to be fine. Run it back. Bring everybody back. Sean McVay ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. He's not leaving this team for TV. Not going to happen.
I'm still not dead sold on that.
The dude has a champion. He's got a Super Bowl in his hands. And all he has to do is just commit. And I think he's already done that. I think he's already decided, I'm coming back. I don't care what the money's going to be. The TV money will be there later. And we're going to run it back for the LA Rams. So there's going to be some maneuvering having to do, but when you're the champs, it's worth it to try to get 2 out of the deal.
They're in much better shape than most teams that go all in like this. The cap calisthenics are not nearly as much as people think.
Right. Not near as much as Tampa Bay had to do.
Hell no. Most people think, but they've traded all their first and second round picks. Yeah, but they keep hitting on 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th rounders. So they keep getting all these compensatory picks when people leave, which means they're just replenishing the coffers. Les Snead does an unbelievable job filling holes on this team.
Yeah,
and they're in a much better shape than people think.
Yeah, and his response to the draft is the best I've ever seen. Yeah, fuck it.
Fuck him picks.
Right. We won a Super Bowl. I don't need first-round draft picks. I can be competitive with great scouts on my side. They're going to run it back. I will not be shocked to see them in the Super Bowl again next year. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. This has been a Way Forward Wednesday here in the Sportsocracy. Tune in with us tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Right back here. And we'll have Threadbare Thursday. Who knows what we'll get into on the
free
on the program.
agency previews start tomorrow. 5 players that will make every team competitive.
All right.
No recycling, only used one time.
Nice. All right.
Because I'm a big loser and don't have a life.
All right, everybody in the chat, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us here. We'll see y'all back tomorrow afternoon.